The wind is blowing out at 17 miles an hour, so it should be exciting baseball here at Wrigley Field today as our Chicago Cubs entertain the San Francisco Giants.
Participating advertisers in Cubs baseball are Budweiser, the king of beers and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Your neighborhood True Value hardware stores. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Canon, the official 35-millimeter camera of the 1984 Olympics. United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Zenith, see all the close-up action on the Smart Set by Zenith. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. The Yellow Pages, it's the small investment that keeps your big investments paying off. And your Chicagoland McDonald's restaurants, where you can get all your favorite tastes in just one place. McDonald's. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
Hello again, everybody. This is Harry Caray at Wrigley Field. The wind is blowing out at 17 miles an hour. It's 46 degrees. Not exactly ideal baseball weather, but nevertheless, there will be baseball as the Cubs try to sweep the San Francisco Giants. An interesting sidelight to this ball game here today. This is a game that will feature two downstate boys. Rick Reuschel, who's going to be 35 later this month. Reuschel, who comes from near Quincy at Camp Point, Illinois, will be pitching for the Cubs. And a 22-year-old rookie, Scott Garrelts, who's from down around Champaign-Urbana, makes his home in Buckley, Illinois, will be pitching for the San Francisco Giants. The Giants continue to be handicapped. They only have 7 pitchers on their staff, and that is quite a handicap and quite a odds for the other team, as was proven yesterday in the slugfest that ensued, with the Cubs eventually winning the ball game by the score of 10-7. The choir group from Urbana High School is gathering just behind home plate. The crowd here is small. The wind is blowing out. There's going to be a lot of action. So if you're in the neighborhood, why don't you join us here? In just a moment, you'll be hearing our national anthem. Tom Lasorda will bring the Dodgers into town tomorrow, and I would imagine among the spectators will be Frank Sinatra. Being an old buddy of the Dodger manager, and with the Dodgers coming in for games Wednesday and Thursday, which will conclude this homestand for the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are in a first-place tie at the moment. Now, let's enjoy. We'll enjoy our national anthem, but first, a look at the wind. The umpires are just being introduced. They will be Dutch Rennert behind the plate, Eddie Montague at first base, Eric Gregg at second base, and Lee Wyer at third. Tomorrow it'll be Scott Sanderson, and he'll draw an ex-Cub, Bert Hooton, as his opponent. And let's hope that the weatherman chooses to make the weather a little bit more conducive to the playing of baseball. Remember, it's 46 degrees here with the wind blowing out. Boy, that ought to be great for the hitters at 17 miles an hour. And Leon Durham will be going for his 5th home run in as many days. It has only been done once previously in Chicago Cub history, and you probably have guessed already who did it. None other than Hack Wilson back in 1929. There's our national anthem. Again, everybody, Harry Caray with Steve Stone back in Wrigley Field. Let's go through that Cub lineup again in its entirety. Dernier in center, Sandberg at second, Matthews and left, Durham at first, Say at third, Hall in right, Davis the catcher, Boa at short, and Rick Russell, making his second start of the year, will be the pitcher. We've given you the umpires. The concert choir from Urbana High School, under the direction of Dave Saunders, with a very lovely rendition of our national anthem a few moments ago.
There you take a look at Rick Russell. I talked to Jim Fry about what he expected of the big guy, and he said he's not quite sure. Here's a guy who's only thrown one time in a month, and he said he'd love to get 5 innings out of him, but regardless of the outcome of this one, he still would like to see him throw 3 or 4 times before he made an evaluation.
Well, I tell you, if he can throw anywhere near the way he threw last September, then you're going to have to ask, why in the world hasn't he started a little more often? Because he was the best pitcher we had, I thought, last September. And apparently nothing's been wrong with his arm. There's been a series of other ailments like muscle back spasms and a crick in the neck and things like that.
Well, he had some leg problems also, and he's gotten that one start. He threw very well against Pittsburgh, but he'll have a tough day to throw, especially against the left-handers. He'll have to keep the ball down to Chili Davis and Al Oliver because the wind is howling out toward right field.
All right, here's Chili Davis, 2 out of 5 yesterday, hitting .281 with 1 homer and 4 RBI. Russell's first pitch of the ball game. A fastball a little bit low. Dutch Rennert, with that unique style of calling strikes, is working the plate. Russell's pitch. Bouncing ball, that ought to be easy. Sandberg over to first. I tell you, Russell ought to have the best of it on a day like this because he's a sinker baller, and it's going to be more difficult to get the ball up in the air against him than it is against a rookie hardball throwing Scott Garrelts of the San Francisco Giants, who's more of a power pitcher. Manny Trio, the batter, 1 out of 5 yesterday. 1 out. Boy, what a shot in the arm it would be to get a good performance out of Russell. There's a strike call. See, there's Renner. He does a squat and a squat. 1 strike to nothing. A cloudy, cool day at Wrigley Field. But outside, that evens a count, a ball and a strike.
Manny Trio very familiar with Rick Russell. They used to be teammates.
There's a drive. drive deep left field, way back. That ball is going to be out of here. It could be. There it is, a home run. Manny Trillo, golf one over the left field wall. His 4th home run of the year, and that ball really shot out of here. And it looked like he hit a pretty good pitch, about knee high.
Manny Trillo, not a noted home run hitter. Last year, he only had 3 for the year. Well, this is his 4th of this young season. He took a fastball down and in, and as you said, Harry, just golfed it out of the park.
Here's Al Oliver, and the pitch is in there for a strike call. Boy, it's strange that they can't make room for Jeff Leonard in their lineup. He's a pretty good ball player to be sitting on the bench for anybody.
Well, you can only use 3 outfielders, and Leonard seems to be the odd man out. I think he might have a little bit of an injury here. He sat out 2 straight days, but Chili Davis is starting to hit the ball well, and he's flanked by a couple of guys who play well also.
Here's the pitch to Oliver, and it's a slider a little bit inside. Russell seems to be throwing the ball well. 1-2 pitch. Whoa, almost hit him. Off-speed breaking ball. Speaking of Jeff Leonard, as greetings for Lolita Rose, 4th grade class at St. Catherine. Here's a bouncing ball in fast. Sandberg, he'll throw him out. That's 2 away, 1-0 in favor of the Giants. Here's Jack Clark, batting .356 for the year with 5 homers and 19 RBI. The Hack Man has a lot of friends. That's what they call Jeff Leonard. Has a lot of friends in the Chicago area.
There you take a look at Jack Clark, and he's off to a unfamiliar fast start. He usually starts very slowly, gets tuned up as the weather gets warmer, but this year he is torrid.
Here's a pitch, and it's a breaking ball a little bit inside, ball 1. Russell retired both Davis and Oliver, left-hand hitters, on ground balls to Sandberg. Trillo, the right-handed batter, hit one out of the ballpark. So much to the platoon system. Montreal's game has been canceled because of rain. They play it as part of a doubleheader in July. The delivery. Breaking ball, low and outside. Montreal's game with Houston rained out. Russell's delivery. Breaking ball low, ball 3. And Dusty Baker will be coming up next. Cubs have beaten the Giants 3 in a row this year. Popped it up in foul territory. Durham going out near the stands, and he can't make the play. That ball fooled him all the way. No error is charged. He had trouble combating the wind.
Well, he's got to go over the home plate area of the warm-up mounds. You'll see him do that right here, and the wind keeps taking the ball back away from him. It's drifting. It barely ticks off his glove, but he isn't charged with anything.
No error charge on the play. 3-2 now, but it does give a dangerous hitter another chance. And there's a high drive in the left field that should be caught. Matthews coming in under it. Makes the catch. Gary is not the most sure catcher of fly balls. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. A very, very treacherous day because of that strong wind. We go into the bottom of the first. The Giants are leading 1-0. You don't need a professional to achieve a well-groomed yard. Get the same results yourself with lawn care products from True Value hardware stores. Trim overgrown bushes with a Black & Decker 16-inch electric trimmer. Cut grass around shrubs with distant cordless shears, or this Weed Eater electric trimmer. Then sweep away clippings with a Paramount electric power blower. Get them all at participating True Value hardware store.
Excuse me?
Yes?
What's that 76 mean?
Oh, well now, young lady, that stands for Union 76. The gasoline's with Spirit.
Spirit? That's achieved in the refining, isn't it?
Oh,
Doesn't Spirit refer to good volatility control? Thereby reducing the instance of Epilock and other combustion abnormalities that inhibit good drivability and starting.
Murph,
Fill her up with spirit.
the gasoline with spirit.
You wouldn't have a chemical breakdown, would you?
The spirit of 76.
Carabelle two-man boat kit from Sevalor features 4 air chambers, 2 oars, and more. Sport Mart price $26.94. For sports, it's Sport Mart.
Harry Carey with Steve Stone. We're back at Wrigley Field, ready to go in the bottom of the first. Scott Geraltz, only 22 years old, born in Urbana, now lives in Buckley. Big, strong right-handers on the hill. Power pitcher, huh?
He throws a good fastball over the top. His curveball isn't too much, and he had this ball club made in spring training. He threw a couple of good games for Frank Robinson at the tail end of last season, and they had penciled him into the starting rotation. He actually pitched himself off the ball club this spring, had a horrendous spring with close to an 8-point earned run average, and they sent him down on March 29th to Phoenix. He didn't fare any better down there, had close to a 9-point earned run average. But that staff of Frank Robinson's is so depleted, they had to call him back.
He is a highly talented youngster out of high school. There's a strike to Dernier. He was a 5th player selected in the 1979 draft. 15th player, rather. There's a line drive base hit for Dernier. Boy, this guy has been tremendous starting a ball game. Bobby Dernier leads off with a single to center.
The second fastball, and this one's right down the middle, and Dernier takes it right back where it came from. Over the pitcher's head, out into center field. He's on with a single, and Geraltz has some problems because his fastball doesn't appear to move. He throws hard enough, but it looks like it doesn't sink or sail.
It's a 5th straight game that Dernier has reached base leading off. Here's a pitch high to Sandberg, who's raised his average to 308 with his 3 out of 5 yesterday. 2 homers, 17 RBIs. There's a pitch in there for a strike call. That evens the count. Ryan Sandberg with Dernier very fast at first base. They throw over for him, and he's back. Gary Matthews on deck. Slim crowd, as you might expect on this cold, windy day. Again, they throw the ball away. Watch Dernier. He might go all the way to third base. Here he comes around second. He's going to make it easily. And that brings a roar from the small crowd. That ball seemed to rip right through Al Oliver's glove.
Oliver could have had this one. He takes his eye off the ball a little bit, and it just gets by him. Now the ball hits the door. It doesn't hit the wall. It hits the door and comes back to Oliver. But he still doesn't have any shot at Dernier, who goes all the way to third base.
Looked to me like Oliver was crossed up. Or else Geraltz just handcuffed him. We have a runner at third with nobody out. Sandberg with a count of 1-1. A high drive in the right field. The wind carrying it deep, but foul into the stand.
Al Oliver is charged with the error on that errant throw. One way or another, Dernier at the top of the order always causes some problems. Whether with his base stealing or pressure he puts on the defense, he makes things happen.
Boy, what a plus it is to have a man with his speed leading off. And more important than that is getting on as a leadoff man.
Probably the most disturbing statistic for Scott Geraltz is 28 walks in 22 innings in AAA. That will kill you at the major league level.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 22-year-old right-hander fires into the dirt. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, the Cubs yesterday got 2 in the first and 7 in the second. And boy, they needed them all to win 10-7. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Line drive base hit, another RBI for Sandberg. That's his 18th of the year. Boy, oh boy, what a year that kid is having. Sandberg went 3 out of 5 yesterday. Comes right back today.
I told you the fastball isn't moving much. You see a straight fastball, and it's hit right where it's pitched, right back up the middle. So that's 2 high fastballs, 2 base hits, and it ends up in a run.
Here now is Gary Matthews. Takes the pitch a little high. Birthday greetings to Kathy Ferguson. Happy birthday to you, dear Kathy. Quick throw to first, the runner back. Sandberg with 18 ribbies now. He has more than Durham. And Durham has 6 homers. There's a pitch a little bit low. Ball 2.
Yeah, but Bob Dernier is not hitting in front of Leon Durham, and Dernier has really been setting the table all season.
Sandberg, another fine base runner. There you see Frank Robinson, the manager of the Giants. There goes the runner. There's a tag, and he's got it. Hey, they got him out. Boy, I was just going to say he had it swiped. A bad throw, I think, really helped the catcher.
Manny Trio has to come up in front of the bag to take this throw, and he tags Sandberg on the back. I think Eric Gregg was out of position, Harry. I really believe if you watch Eric Gregg on this play, he was looking at home. You see him, he had to avoid Sandberg, and by the time he looked, all he could see was the back of Sandberg, and he couldn't see the foot. And I don't believe he was in position to make the call, but nonetheless, Sandberg was out.
And now Gary Matthews walks. So here is Leon Durham. Boy, it looked like Sandberg had the base stolen easily. But the throw being to the first base side. There goes a runner. There's a peg. What in the world's going on here? Don't they think Brenly can throw? That's 2 men in a row thrown out trying to steal, and we just run ourselves out of what could have been a big inning.
Well, there is no doubt about this one. Brenly is the best throwing San Francisco catcher, and he shows you here not only a great throw, but he gets rid of the ball in a hurry.
So instead of having men on base for Durham, he's up there all alone. Score tied 1-1. There's a pitch a little bit low. 2 balls and a strike. I don't know, Steve, I got to ask you about that. You got a pitcher that's really rocky out there. Why would you take a chance running yourself out of an inning?
I can't believe that that was a steal sign given by Jim Fry. I got to believe that Gary Matthews was on his own, Harry, and he took off. We'll have to check and see what happens after the game.
It's ball 4. That's 4 men in a row who have reached base this inning. Yet, there are 2 out.
Well, Jim Fry is a very big advocate of scouting reports and computerized statistics, and he realizes as well as anybody else that Scott Geraltz has had tremendous trouble with his control over his major league and minor league career. There's no way in the world you want to take yourself out of an inning until a guy nervous in his first major league start gets over the jitters. By that time, you could have 4 or 5 runs. Well, now we're stuck with 1, a man at first, and 2 out.
That's the reference I was making. Here's the pitch on the way. Ron Cey, the former Dodger, takes a strike call. Birthday greetings to Jim Merlo. One strike and nothing. Ron Cey waiting. Pitch a little high. A ball and a strike. 1-1 tie. Boy, what a screwy inning. 4 men in a row reach base. Yet they're 2 out, 1 run in, and man on first. 1-2. The count is Say fouls it back.
Gereltz has good size for a pitcher, 6'4", 195 pounds. And he's got a pretty good arm. He just has to learn how to make that fastball move a little bit more because he doesn't have that good compensating breaking pitch.
Throw over to first, the runner back. Congratulations to Dale Wheeler and his wife Helen on the birth of a baby boy yesterday at St. Joseph's Hospital. Ball low and outside. Ron Say, batting only .218 with 4 homers, 16 RBI. Durham a lead. There's a smash to the shortstop. He's got it. LeMaster over to Trio. And it's only 1 run out of all that. 2 hits, 1 error, 1 left. At the end of 1, we're tied 1 all.
It's not just a race. It's a game. If they think I'm tired, maybe they'll make their move.
Bring out your best.
Then I'll make mine.
Bring out your best.
Bud Light.
Bring out your best.
Bud Light.
The best has a taste all its own. Enjoy it.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field as we go in the top of the 2nd inning. Here's Dusty Baker to lead it off. Another ex-Dodger. Hitting .349 for the year with 1 homer and 8 RBI. The pitch by Rusho. Strike is called. We want to send our good wishes to Jimmy Pearsall's wife, Jan. I wish her a very speedy convalescence. Here's a pitch a little bit low, and the count is evened up, and a ball and a strike. Jan hospitalized today, but only expected to be in the hospital a few days. 1-1 delivery, low and inside.
I asked Dusty Baker before the game if he still felt some Dodger blue in his blood, and he said he felt a little more longing for Atlanta when he left than when he left the Dodgers. He said it's a funny thing. He came up with Atlanta. It was their first club. He thought he'd be there forever. And when he left Atlanta, he looked back fondly. He says now he's over being a Dodger. Just has his mind made up to help his new San Francisco ball club.
Ray balls and a strike. The delivery now. Fouled it off, and the count is full of 3-2. Even cold in the bleachers today. Looking out with the blankets and the jackets. Yes, sir. This is a good football afternoon. Ray balls, 2 strikes. Dusty Baker. Bouncing ball, foul outside third. Bud Dillon watching the game in Joliet, celebrating his 92nd birthday today. Wow. Ball 4 goes all the way back to the screen. Jody Davis recovers it. The leadoff man is on for the Giants. Here's Joe Youngblood. Dean Mooney, along with Tommy Ryan. Dean being the manager of the pump room. Well, they had a marvelous party last night for Frank Sinatra. Runner at first, nobody out. Youngblood, who wears out the Cubs. Takes a pitch a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes. One tie. There goes the runner. Swung on, a bouncing ball, foul. Hit and run was on. One of my favorite types of names, Emilio Infusino. here with the group today.
Youngblood taking the long look down to third base coach Danny Ozark. He doesn't want to make sure he misses anything. Baker, who still runs pretty well on first.
1-1 pitch. He bunts the ball but foul back. And he's in the hole 1-2. Down in Fort Myers, Florida, they gather at the Grand Slam Pub every day to watch the Cubs game. I hope they see an exciting one again today. Throw over to first to run it back. 1-1 tie. The Cubs ran themselves out of what could have been a big first inning. Play struck him out, and boy, oh boy, finally made Youngblood look bad with a breaking ball low and away.
Rick throws a slurve, which is in between a slider and a curveball. And take a look at it. It just keeps going. It starts away, stays away, and Youngblood completely fooled. You see him on the front foot. Tried to just fling the bat out one-handed, but still couldn't foul that one off.
Here's Bob Brenly, hitting .308 for the year. He's got pretty good power. 0 for 2 yesterday. The pitch. Bouncing ball, left field, base hit. And his runners on at first and second. Here's shortstop Johnny LeMaster. A great Cub fan out in Scottsdale, Arizona, looking on, Joanne Nelson. And our good wishes and best regards.
Got to be careful with LeMaster because he does handle the bat well. He can bunt the ball on occasion. Ronce very deep at third base. Has to be careful.
There's the slow breaking ball for a strike call. Johnny LeMaster hitting .202 at 1 out of 3 yesterday. Game tied up 1-1. A cold, windy day at Wrigley Field. Button up your overcoat. Let the winds blow free. Take good care of yourself. Fouled it back.
Your voice is killing me.
You ever learn how to spell that word?
In fact, it is in the dictionary, Harry.
What does it mean, first of all?
Well, in reference to yesterday...
What is that word again?
Cockamamie.
Oh, that sounds vulgar.
No, it's not. You'll have to look that up, but it is in the dictionary.
0-2 the count. Runners at first and second. Rushel's pitch. A little bit outside. Rushel's sort of shot puts the ball. He always did pitch that way.
He slings it just a little bit, and that's as a result of some shoulder problems. Usually his control is his strongest asset. He doesn't walk leadoff hitters, as was the case with Dusty Baker.
Now the pitch. Ground ball, left field base hit, and the Giants will have taken the lead. 2-1. LeMaster hit one in the hole between Say and Boa. And we may rue the first inning when this game is over. Here is Gereltz, the pitcher. 22-year-old kid, stands 6'4". Out of the Urbana-Champaign area. He was going to bunt, snap throw to second, to run it back. Dusty Baker has scored. Brenly's now at second base. LeMaster at first with his 9th RBI of the year. He bunts. Whoa! Russia falls down. There's an though. The bases are loaded. They bunted the ball between Russell and Durham for a hit, and the bases are loaded.
Russell is usually a good fielder, but when the ball is bunted by Durham, there you see Rick losing his footing. The ball trickles into the infield for a base hit. That loads him up. Watch it again. It's a good bunt because it gets by Leon, and this is Rick's play to make, and he falls down.
So the bases are loaded, and here's Chili Davis, and the wind is blowing towards right field at 17 miles an hour. There's danger here, Sherry. There's a drive, right field, going to be caught by Hall. The run will score after the catch. Another man advances from second to third. So Brenly scores a sacrifice fly. That ball was well hit.
Well, Chili hits it right on the nose. His 5th RBI of the year. Mel Hall is able to pull it down, but not before Bob Brenly scores the 3rd San Francisco run.
Well, boy, if my singing killed you, those filthy cigars of yours murder me.
This is not a filthy one. This happens to be a particularly clean
Well,
one.
can you blow it over towards Joe Carneo instead of towards me? God,
Good for you. Put hair on your
there ought to
chest.
be a law against it. Here's a curveball a little bit low, and there is a law against it in some places.
We're not broadcasting in those
Do you
places.
smoke those things on elevators, too?
No, I don't. Just in the booth.
1 ball, no strikes. Here's a pitch a little bit low. 2 balls, no strikes. Runners at first and third, 2 out. 3-1 in favor of the Giants. There you see Geraltz is credited with a hit on his bunt. He's just trying to sacrifice. Manny Trio homered in the first inning. Runs the count to 3-0.
Rick is really struggling today. That fastball doesn't seem to have a whole lot on it. His breaking ball is not sharp, and the control isn't there.
There's a strike at the knees. Well, this is second start of the year, which is now in its 27th game. 3 balls and a strike. Good fastball. He really whipped that one in there. And the count is 3-2.
Rich Bordy has gotten up, and he's starting to throw. And it's very difficult in the position that Rick Russell finds himself to really develop any consistency.
3-2 delivery. The pitch. Struck him out with a breaking ball. Trio is called out on strike. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left.
Mondo Cuomo. Elegance that inspires. Surprisingly, at the Suitery.
Harry Carey back at windswept and cold Wrigley Field. I just figure out why those cigars are bothering me so much today. The wind is blowing in this direction.
I'd blow him a Joe, but I know he doesn't like to smoke, Harry.
There really ought to be a law against it. In close quarters, people should not be permitted to smoke cigars. Cigarettes, okay. Can I interest you in cigarettes? They kill you. Here's Mel Hall. Well, with all the wind blowing towards right field at 17 miles an hour, the only home run has been hit to left field. Hall has had trouble with the Giants pitching all through his young career. There's a high fly ball. Easy out. Clark in right field has it. The wind's blowing all right, but not that strong. The ball was weakly hit. One away, here's Davis. Jody hitting .286 with 2 homers and 18 RBI. Larry Boa waiting on deck. Bill Veeck. Bill's sitting out in the center field bleachers. That'll give you an idea of the weather, because usually they flock around Bill out there. Today there aren't that many people. I'm surprised Bill's even got a jacket on. 46 degrees. Boy, they threw away the mold with him. There's a line drive right at the third baseman, hit like a shot. Jody Davis lined out to Joel Youngblood.
If you need any more of an explanation about why it's called the hot corner, watch this one. Jody smokes a line drive down at Joel Youngblood, and he comes up with it just a little bit over his head.
Here's Boa now, ground ball up the middle, a base hit. Boa singles to center. That'll bring up Rick Russell. Pretty fair hitting pitcher. Rick's a pretty good athlete. He doesn't look like it. Looks more like it now than he did in his prime, because he's lost so much weight.
Well, I played on the Cub basketball team back in the middle 70s with him, and he was a pretty good basketball player, and he's generally a good hitter. He didn't hit for a few years after going over to the American League and the New York Yankees. But if he gets a chance to bat a few times, he'll get that stroke together.
You know, for a pitcher 35 years old, this is only the second game that Russell has appeared in. Last time he started a game was against Pittsburgh, April the 21st. There's a tap right back to the mound, over to first, easy out. And it is no runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left at the end of 2. The Giants 3, the Cubs 1.
You've invested a lot in the tools of your trade. You want them to pay off. You want to keep them busy. That's why you also invest in the Yellow Pages, where your ad is on the job every day of the year, so other businesses who need you can find you. With all you've put into your business, your ad belongs in the Yellow Pages. It's the small investment that keeps your big investments paying off.
It's that time again. Time to double up on the king of beers. Summer fun calls for plenty of ice-cold Bud. Pick a pair and look for this special offer on a pair of Budweiser Olympic Steins, insulated to keep your Bud cold. So double up on 6-packs, 12-packs, even cases. And don't forget to send for your Bud Olympic Steins. This Bud's for you.
Al Oliver leading it off. In the 3rd inning, a high pop fly. Dernier coming in under the ball, and he makes the catch. He had a run quite a ways, but he grabbed it. 1 gone. Dernier is a tower of defensive strength in center field. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball through WGN, Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station, where every evening at 9, you get a full and comprehensive report of the news. Jack Clark, the batter. Strike is called. Clark, a power hitter. Hitting .356. Takes a pitch a little low and away.
I asked him about his home run in the center field seats yesterday. He said, I didn't get that ball in San Francisco. The center fielder would have been running in like Dernier did on Oliver.
There's the pitch a little bit low. Seattle playing at Oakland today. Langston's pitching for Seattle. Sorensen for Oakland. high pop foul over into the stands. Durham might have a play. Nope, can't reach it. At Oakland Ball Club's in second place in the American League West, trailing the Angels by a game. The Milwaukee Brewers walloped the White Sox last night. Yankees beat Cleveland. Detroit won again. They haven't been beaten on the road yet. Minnesota walloped the Angels. And Oakland edged Seattle. There's another high pop foul over on the first base side. Again, Durham. This time he makes the play right in front of the Giant dugout. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, they say the third time is the charm. And for Leon Durham, it held true. He made a very nice catch. It's a guy who is finding himself with an unfamiliar luxury of having nobody around him.
Let's see Bill Beck again, Arnie. 2 out, nobody on. Arnie, our producer, director. Ground ball right to save. Fumbles and recovers and throws. Out! They still got him. Dusty Baker out by an eyelash. Save. First knockdown, recovered and threw. There's Bill Beck. What a man. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. We go to the bottom of the third, 3-1 in favor of the Giants.
Give me a light. A Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
And I'll have a light. A Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Harry, no, that's not my cigar. What are you showing there? Ah.
No, I think that doesn't. That smoke is not as dense as your cigar. Ah, the wheels of industry on the near north side. Here's Dernier to lead it off. He started what might have been a big first inning with a single to center. The Cubs had the distinction of having the first 4 men up get on base and throwing themselves out on the bases. Running themselves out on the bases.
Sometimes when you let a young pitcher off the hook in the first inning, he comes back and gets awfully tough. That was the best breaking ball thrown by Gereltz all day.
Just missed with the breaking ball this time. 1 and 2, that's exactly what I was thinking about. So often you'll see pitcher get off the ropes and then settle down to beat you. He didn't mean to swing. The ball is tipped foul. 1 and 2 the count. The Cubs are an aggressive running team on the bases. The delivery. Line drive, another hit for Dernier. That was a curveball that hung. Now let's see if we can do it again. Dernier singles to left. Boy, that's his 4th hit of the 2-game series.
And that curveball stayed up in the strike zone, and when that happens, you've got trouble. Let's watch it again. Look at the curveball. It just spins and stays up high. And Dernier pounds it into left. Sandberg trying to protect.
There goes Dernier. There's the peg. He's in there this time with a stolen base.
You saw the protection of Sandberg on the stolen base. He made as if to bunt, laid the bat over the plate. Let's watch it.
That's his 7th stolen base.
No way to get Dernier, who stole this base easily. Watch it again. You see him protect him with a bat. Now Brenly gets a throw a little off the mark. Dernier is in.
Here's Sandberg now, who drove in the run in the first inning. Fouls it out of play, and he's in the hole. Strike 2. 0-2 the count. The ball game in the 3rd. Oh boy, as cold as it is here in the afternoon. Can you imagine Comiskey Park tonight? Wow. The only hot place in town will be Erie Crown, where Frank Sinatra will be appearing. He foul tip, still alive.
And that got a piece of Brenly. That smarts on a cold day. There you see him trying to walk it off. Believe me, that doesn't help a great deal.
Runner in scoring position. Giants are leading 3-1. Ryan Sandberg will be followed by Gary Matthews. He went around on a curveball he couldn't stop. He's out on strikes. And Garrelts now seems to gain a lot more confidence, throwing his breaking ball much more often. He was really on the ropes in that first inning. One out, a man in scoring position, Gary Matthews. It's high, ball one. Matthews and Dusty Baker were teammates with the Atlanta Braves. Inside, ball two. Durham will be up next. He's shooting for 5 home runs in 5 days. He's hit one in each of the last 4 games. There you see the overcoat-clad crowd at Senior Citizens Day here. Ball 3 is low.
I wish we could get a report, Harry, from Nome, Alaska. I know they watch us up there. I bet you that it's colder here than it is in Nome.
Arnie Harris is going to do it. 3 balls, no strikes. Ball 4. And here comes Durham. And if he throws him one of those fastballs, we might have number 5 in as many days. He walked his first time at bat.
The record is Dale Long, who hit 8 home runs in 8 consecutive days. Leon's got a way to go for that.
Look out, pickoff play. He's back.
I got one for you, Harry. What left-handed pitcher hit 4 home runs in 4 consecutive games?
Left-handed pitcher?
A left-handed pitcher. And you knew him because you broadcast his games in 1976 and part of 77.
That would have to have been with the White Sox. Left-hand pitcher.
Another clue. His brother is one of our biggest watchers in Kansas
Brett.
City.
Oh, sure.
Kenny Brett.
Kimmer, yeah. I'd forgotten he'd pitched for the White Sox. He pitched for so many. There's a high pop foul out of play. Well, I was tickled to death to read about George Brett's contract. I knew that it was coming up. He had mentioned it in Palm Springs this winter. 1 strike to nothing. He's set for life with the Royals. The pitch. Low and outside.
If anybody deserves a contract like that for his contribution to a ball club and a community, it's George Brett, because he has really done some phenomenal things in the city of Kansas City, as well as for the ball club.
In Anchorage, Alaska, it's 47. Here it's 46. There's ball outside. Of course, Anchorage doesn't get as cold as Nome. Let's find out what it is at Nome, Arnie. There's a Harry Carey that is there at Nome, right? Spells it different. K-A-R-E-Y. The pitch. There's a strike call. Boy, that was a pretty good pitch. Scott Garrelts from Buckley, Illinois.
He's keeping everything away from Leon. He saw what happened yesterday when they got the fastball down and on the inner portion of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3. Now, would you start the runners? Only one out, 3 balls, 2 strikes on Leon Durham? Or would you hold him fast? Durham doesn't hit into too many double plays. Let's see what they do. They got 2 fast men on the bases. 3-2 delivery. Shortstop Lemaster cutting in behind Bobby Dernier. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The sun's trying to peak. There go the runners. High pop foul out of play. Any kind of an extra base hit would score 2 with the runners going. The sun is trying to come out from behind the clouds. Bobby Dernier is talking to Don Zimmer, the third base coach. And now Bob Brumley wants to go out and talk to the pitcher, thinking that maybe Dernier wants to relay a signal from second base.
Either that or he wants to remind him to take a couple of looks at second to make sure that Dernier stops before he throws home. Also, this is a very good time for a pickoff play, so let's see what they have on. Dernier will obviously be watching Lemaster at second.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The runners go. Ball 4. The bases are loaded. And here's Ron Cey. Oh, for any kind of a base hit.
Frank Williams is warming up. And now Herm Starrett comes out to talk to Gereltz. And Williams, who started a ball game this year and was one of the 4 rookies to start a game for San Francisco, is now throwing in relief. We saw Williams in spring training. He throws from the side. But Herm just wanted to settle down his young right-hander, get him to concentrate on Cey.
All right, Ron, remember that base hit the other day to right field? Base is loaded. The sun is shining. Eureka! Bases loaded, 1 out. The Giant infield back, hoping for the double play. He had a swing and a breaking ball, and he missed.
5 career grand slams for Ron Cey.
I wish he'd forget all about that and just hit that ball hard. There's a drive deep center field, way back. It might be on a hair. It is a grand slam. Holy cow! Ron Cey. What were you saying about his 5th career grand slam?
I said that was his 6th career grand slam. Penguin power. Number 5 on the year. Gives him 20 RBIs.
And he now has put the Cubs ahead 5-3. A long, high, towering fly ball that just made the wicket out there. There's the Penguin. He'll be telling Tommy Lasorda all about that tomorrow.
And there you take a look at him. Off to a good start with RBIs. And Cey got 4 quick ones.
Mel Hall, the batter. 2 balls, no strikes. Mel Hall waiting. Ball is high. And Scott Gereltz. Let's watch his home run again. See what he hit.
He hit a breaking ball that was down, Harry. He just got the head on it. And it drops into the first row as Chili Davis runs out of room.
Three balls and a strike as Hall went after the 3-0 pitch. Fouls it off to the left. And the count is full, 3-2. The Cubs have taken the lead on 1 swing of Ron Cey's bat. The Penguins' average is lowly, but his run production as always, is big. 20 RBIs leads the club. Ball 4, he walked him. We're going to show you the home run from Say's bat from the center field camera now. Watch it. That's how it looked to Chili Davis. Hitting the front row.
Right into aisle 149, and that's going to be it for Gereltz. Frank Robinson wants the ball, and he wants a new pitcher. And it's bases on balls that did in the young right-hander. 3 this inning, 5 overall. And with the bases on balls, if you do give up a home run, they really hurt.
And so we'll have a change of pitchers here, and things look a lot better. The Cubs have taken a 5-3 lead. Oh, I just hope that Russell will pitch a lot here today, Steve. I think he can be the a big help in that starting rotation.
Well, he can, Harry, but he'll have to have 2 or 3 starts in a row before you can really evaluate how successful it'll be. A pitching performance today is hit and miss. You never know how a guy's going to respond to it, but you do know that sitting out, only pitching 1 time all season is not good for any pitcher. Now we'll look at Frank Williams, and Frank is 1-0 on the year. 352 earned run average, making his 12th appearance. He started one of those games, and in his only start of the year, he threw a complete game. He's got 1 save. He's pitched 23 innings, given up only 16 hits. He's struck out 17, but he's walked 20. So like some of the other young San Francisco pitchers, his control has been a problem. And their pitching staff has been in such disarray that they have had 9 rookies starting games. So 4 of the guys have been rookies, but they've started 9 times for San Francisco. And when you send that many young people out to the mound without an established couple of veterans on your staff, you're going to have a tough year. And Frank Robinson just keeps shaking his head in wonderment over this pitching staff, wondering when it's going to come together.
1979 against San Francisco at Candlestick Park.
You know, Say has just worn out San Francisco pitching throughout his career. That was the 36th home run that he's hit against San Francisco pitching. He has driven in 124 runs. He had hit another grand slam against the Giants earlier in his career while a member of the Dodgers. So he is a giant killer indeed. The Penguin, Ron Say. Here's Jody Davis. Frank, but they balked, and he will be allowed to take second base. Williams now is arguing about it. What did I do wrong, he says. Teddy Montague.
That's his 3rd balk of the year, so he's no stranger to that particular call. And Ed Montague called it right away.
Why do you think there's so many more balks being called?
Let's watch this, Harry, and see exactly what he does.
Well, he didn't hesitate at all.
Well, you don't have to hesitate on the throw to first base. I'm not sure exactly what he did even looking at it. But to get back to your question, Harry, I think there was probably a directive given to the umpires before the season started saying that some of the pitchers are trying to get away with deception against the base runner and watch it more carefully, because we've seen a lot of balks this year.
I'm just wondering whether, while he didn't, you don't have to hesitate. If you're stepping towards the plate while you're throwing to first base, that's a balk too, isn't it? Sidearm curve outside.
You've got to step toward first base, and that might have been it. If you throw over your body, if you don't step toward first base, the umpire will call a balk.
Let's see it again.
Might have been the case.
Maybe that's it, huh?
He moved his back foot, Harry, and the only thing that I can think about is he moved his back foot before he delivered the ball, and that's what Montague called.
All right, Jody Davis waiting. Wild pitch. Goes back to the screen. Boy, that was really a wild one. It was almost as wild on the rebound off the wall as it was being delivered from the mound.
Well, he crossed up Brenly, and they're meeting right now at home plate because Brenly was probably looking breaking ball, and all of a sudden he goes, oh my God, it's a fastball. It went right through his legs. He never got a glove on it. The ball bounced off the back wall. That's usually the sign of a cross-up on the part of the pitcher thinking one thing, the catcher calling something else.
3 balls, no strikes. Frank Williams is probably saying to Gurriel, you've contaminated this mound so I can't get the ball over either. Base hit up the middle on 3-0 and a run is in. Jody Davis just poked the ball, bounced it right through the infield for his 19th RBI of the year. Here's that balk that was called on.
Watch his back foot. That's the only thing that I can see. He moved his back foot. Montague said he broke his back foot, and that's what he called the balk. That's why he called the balk. And Harry, the last play is why I don't like the drawn-in infield. That was a ground ball to second base that turned into a base hit.
Here's a pitch down into the dirt. Almost threw another one away. All of the runs now are charged to Gurriel's.
5 walks, 1 strikeout. 5 hits.
5 runs have scored. Runner at first base. Low again. Ball 2. There have been 3 hits in this inning. No errors. 5 runs scored. But one of those 3 hits was a grand slam. For the home run, the grand slam, hey, that's right. As a result of the grand slam, True Value Hardware donates $500 to Cubs Care and the Northwest Memorial Hospital in the drive against cancer. I think that's the first one that's been given under the new generosity of True Value Hardware. Anybody else at the Grand Slam, Chris? That's it.
It's the only Grand Slam this year.
There's a runner back. So, $500 in the fight against charity, against cancer. There's a drive in the right field corner. That's going to roll deep. Another man may score. Here comes Jody around third. Larry Boa with a triple to right. And the Cubs are hot indeed. Holy cow.
It's a good thing that ball got by the cutoff man, Manny Trio, because Jody was running out of steam a little bit around third base. Larry pulls the ball, and it bounces off the door.
Boy, you rarely see him pull like that.
And Clark misses the cutoff man. There you see it get by. Larry on his way to third. Jody scores. RBI number 8 for Larry on the year.
The 6th run of the inning. Yesterday we had 7 in the second. For Boa, that's his first triple of the year. Here's Russell up there now. 7-3 in favor of the Cubs. Well, it is warmer here than it is in Nome, Alaska, folks. It's only 31 in Nome, 46 at Wrigley Field. Infield in. Curve in there, a strike ball. Rick Russell, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Still only 1 out. Infield comes in. Boa, the runner at third. The squeeze is on. He bunts. Here's the run. Going to score easily. Beautiful squeeze play. And Russell drives in Larry Boa. Perfectly executed.
Larry timed it well because Williams didn't know he was coming, and that's the key to a suicide. By the time Williams gets the ball, there's nothing he can do but throw to first. Remember, the key is on the base runner. He has got to time his break so the pitcher's in the middle of his delivery, and Russell gets the ball down perfectly. Boa scores the 7th run of the inning and 8th of the game for the Cubs.
Second day in a row, the Cubs have scored 7 in 1 inning. Here's Bobby Dernier. They got 7 in the second yesterday, 7 in the third today. Here's Dernier taking a strike call. A ball and a strike to count. Boy, that was such a well-executed squeeze play. Swung, and he missed the breaking ball. He's in the hole. Dernier is 2 out of 2 today. Scored 2 runs. Stole a base. One and 2 to count. That evens it up. Frank Williams, a side armor. Hey, I got to get one of those. Those stocking hats are great. Ski hats.
I've been telling you to wear a hat for years.
There's a drive in the left field by Dernier. But he's going to be caught by Dusty Baker at the warning track. 10 men batted. 7 of them scored. There were 4 hits. No errors and nobody left. Milo will be joining Steve in a moment. This is Harry Caray at Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs are out in front of the Giants 8-3.
Laura, who drank all the Pepsi?
And don't tell me it was some strange creature from another planet either, okay?
Yes, Mom.
Can anyone resist the sparkling taste of Pepsi? Anyone?
Take it easy on the Pepsi. Okay? I'm sorry.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
All-Star Week on the Jeffersons continues tonight with Lou Gossett.
Hello, Louise.
George's old Navy buddy comes to town
Really is good to see you again, George.
with his eye on Louise.
Remember, Wendell, as long as you're here, help yourself to anything you see.
Lou Gossett puts the moves on Louise. On the Jeffersons tonight at 6:30 on Channel 9. This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. Youngblood leading off in the 4th inning, and Ruschel's out there with a lead for the first time today. On a chilly, windy day here. Wind even blowing harder than it was yesterday. Youngblood comes up empty there, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. The windblown look, and here we are, the Bobbsey twins. Milo Hamilton with Steve Stone now in the middle. Ruschel with something to work on now, as the Cubs, after running themselves out of an inning in the 1st inning, decided to do it another way in the 3rd, huh?
Well, they went to the long ball. Unfortunately, young Geraltz was wild today, put a couple of base runners on. But Ruschel has his hands full because that wind looks like it's blowing about 25 miles an hour now out over the right field wall, and any fly ball is going to be a threat to go out of here.
Just look how that pennant is whipping out there. That's the way they get worn out. Now it's 3-2 to Youngblood, who struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Swing sends a high fly ball, center field. Dernier coming in. He's under it. Youngblood is out, and it's 1 away in the Giant 4th. Bob Brenly, the catcher, who had a base hit in the 2nd and scored their 3rd run. Cubs right now are in front 8-3.
Here's a question of a man being in the right place at the right time. He was ticketed for the bench. Nicosia came up with an injury the last day of spring training, and it's been Brenly ever since.
First pitch is a strike from Rick Ruschel. Fastball, good sinker. He'll change the speed on his curveball. Also give a little different look when he drops down. So we've had about every look here today, especially with Williams coming in. And there's a drive to left field. Wrigley Field will never hold it. It's in the 4th row in the left center field bleachers. second home run of the game off Russell. Trio had one in the opening inning. That makes it 8-4. Brenly's 2 for 2 today.
Home run number 1 for Bob Brenly. A fastball right down the middle, and Rick got it up, got it over the plate. Brenly got his arms out, and the wind not only helps the ball to right, but will help the ball to left.
This is LeMaster. Ball 1. First time up, had a base hit and drove in a run. 49 degrees on the lakefront. Wind out of the west at 18 miles an hour at least. Strike called. Had a notion, couldn't pull the trigger. Remember, the Dodgers come in tomorrow and Thursday. Then we leave Friday morning to go to Houston, Des Moines, and Cincinnati. Next Monday, an exhibition in Des Moines with our AAA club. Ron Malley of the Des Moines Register called me this morning, wanted to know all about our club. Fine writer out there, and he'll be there to greet us when we get in Monday. There's a foul back to the right out of play. I got a feeling, Mr. Stone, that somebody gave you one of those good ones today.
Manny Trio delivered a Monte Cristo Havana cigar.
And that's from Havana, folks.
To my pocket before the game.
There's a drive to left. Matthews back, and he'll get it. That ball got up and died a little bit, but when it went out, it looked and sounded awful.
Well, LeMaster's only hit 1 home run, and this was very close to his second. As Russell continues to get the ball up, and the Giants continue to hit it hard. And the Giants have been a little inconsistent in their pitching staff, but there's nothing wrong with their offensive attack. They've got some guys who can hit the ball.
Williams with a strike. They've gotten homers out of Trio and Brenly here today. Strike 2.
You know, Milo, we've been hitting their pitching staff pretty well, but before they came in the previous 11 games, their earned run average was below 2. So their pitchers have been doing a good job.
Swings and misses, got him, and that'll retire the side, so they get a solo homer. Just keep guys off the bases if they're going to hit them. The homer by Brenly. We've played into the middle of the 4th. Cubs lead it by 4.
Think about time. Is so much of it really necessary to Beechwood Age Budweiser? Think about ingredients. Why demand only the very best? Why search for the best of the good earth? Why? Because that's what it takes to create the quality taste of Budweiser. Quality taste. Think about that. That's what people want from a cold glass of beer. And this is the one they want. For quality. For the way it tastes. Somebody still cares about quality.
All right, getting ready to go into the bottom of the 4th. Sandberg, who drove in a run in the first inning with a hit to give him an 11-game hitting streak, the longest on the club this year, will be stepping in. And tonight he'll be stepping out with Larry Boa and Scott Sanderson and Jay Johnstone, as Larry Boa and Bob Ibach start their new question and answer show up at Danny's place in Northfield. That's tonight between 8 and 9. Jay Johnstone's supposed to be there. Bobby Collins said he might make it. Well, if you find Johnstone out, you'll find Bobby Collins out. Should we tell Collins? Oh, he won't need any help. But tell him to order the chicken Alfredo. There's a strike to Sandberg, who's had a single, an RBI, a caught stealing, and a swing and a miss strikeout.
Was that noise the Alfredo or the chicken? Williams' fastball moves into a right-hander. When he gets into problems is when, even though he throws it from the side, he gets underneath the ball. Then it stays up a little bit. There you see a recent graduate.
Yes. 2 balls and a strike. You know, if Williams were a little taller, he might find that same groove down on the side of that mound that Abernathy put there.
Same type of delivery. Ted was a little more underneath.
Yeah. There's a line drive, a base hit that's going to split him in left center. Rhino is really hot, and he's going to have a double as Baker fires it in. Leadoff double. 3rd time in 4 innings that a Cub has been on in the leadoff spot. 2 hits today, 5 hits in a game and a half here for Sandberg.
If you're going to throw from down under, you've got to keep the ball down. That's been the secret to Dan Quisenberry over the years. But Williams throws from down there, and the ball starts coming up a little bit, and when that happens, you can get hit pretty hard.
Gary Matthews been up twice, walked twice, and has scored a run. Sandberg at second. Cubs now have 8 hits, 5 hits for the Giants. That's a strike. They've had homers out of Trio and Brenly. Say hit a grand slam for the Cubs. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. Montreal was rained out in their game at Olympic Stadium today with Houston. Seattle and Oakland will play later this afternoon. Everybody else in the National will play tonight. And the White Sox are at home with the Milwaukee Brewers. That's a ball, and it's 1-2.
From the Cubs standpoint, you don't mind these teams getting rained out of games. You'd love to see the doubleheaders pile up, because there's not one team in the division who has exceptionally deep starting pitching. So the more doubleheaders in July and August, the better off it'll be for the Cubs.
Whoa, look out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Daenerys had 2 hits, Sandberg 2. Boas had 2. Sandberg with his lead at second, nobody out. Matthews waiting on a 2-2. Setting up low and away. And he almost took Eric Gregg out of the play with that one hit right at him. But Eric got out of the way, thrown out by Trio, and on the play Sandberg moves over to third.
Eric Gregg is having a tough time today. He almost got hit with a throw from the catcher, and now this one almost took part of his pant leg.
What did the replay look like on the caught stealing on Sandberg in the 2nd inning?
It looked like Eric was trying to get out of the way of the throw, looked up, and when he saw the play, all he could see was the back of Sandberg. He couldn't see the leg, and it looked to me like he was in there. It looked to me like Eric was a little out of position.
There's a different philosophy in the 2 leagues, isn't there, about umpiring at second? One league umpires on the infield side and another one on the outside.
The American League usually calls it from the backside of second base.
Fouled off by the Bull. Durham has been up twice, walked each time, scored 1 run. Had 2 for 4 yesterday, including a home run, and he drove in 4 yesterday.
He really hasn't had a good pitch yet in which to try to tie Hack Wilson. He's seen a lot of fastballs away and nothing in his zone.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. Hack Wilson did it. 5 homers, 5 straight days. No Cub has ever done it 6 straight days. 2 balls and a strike. Look out. Woo.
There's the Bull wants to take a look to see if everybody's okay.
There's Tony Garofalo, the trainer. Evidently nobody got hurt. He didn't move. And now Jody Davis is saying, he's pointing out the other way, and somebody was waving a towel also. Woo. That was in there so fast, even if you yelled duck, you couldn't duck. 2-2 with the infield up. That's a strike. Is gone. First strikeout for Williams. Second strikeout of a Cub in the game makes it 2 away in the inning. Another hand for Say's grand slam. Fans don't want him to think they forgot. So his last 2 grand slams, he picked on the Giants. Last time was at Candlestick. Sandberg third, 2 out. Slicing liner foul down the right side. Sounded like he broke his bat.
That he did. He's got to go back and get another one. So the grand slam bat lasts a total of 1 more pitch. Now we'll have to make a new grand slam bat.
Richard Byline and some friends from Lakewood, Colorado. Watch us on the cable. Some folks up from Peoria today. And the Quad Cities. Sandberg would be a big hit if the pen could get one here. Pick everybody up. There's that rising pitch, and it's a ball, 1-1. Ryne Sandberg, who is 2 for 3 today, a single and a double, has his lead at third. 1-1 to the Penguin. That's a ball, 2-1.
Last year, Frank Williams spent his season between Shreveport and Phoenix. Did not see any major league action. He was 7-2 in Shreveport, 5-3 in Phoenix. Pretty good earned run averages, and he was a full-time reliever.
And like a lot of them you see now, it doesn't make any difference what the situation is. They always work from the stretch. Bouncer to second, bobbled by Trio, picks it up, has time, throws out Say, side retired. So leadoff double by Sandberg does not blossom into another Cub run. So we played through 4, and the Cubs are still in front 8-4.
Murph, I'm not cut out to be a mechanic.
What do you mean, Jill? If you can cut it at Union 76, you were born to be under a hood.
After last night, Danny would agree.
Dinner didn't go well?
No, dinner was fine. It was after. When he said his car would start on that lonely road in the moonlight.
Ooh, sounds romantic.
Yeah, and then I said, Danny, don't worry, I'm a 76 mechanic. So I hopped out, popped the hood, got the car started.
Go with the spirit.
So we should talk.
The spirit of 76.
5th inning, Chili Davis. 0 for 1, drove in a run in the second with a sacrifice fly. First pitch to him is a ball. Russell's gone all the way against Garrelts and Williams. Been touched for 4 runs on 5 hits, given up 2 gopher balls. Fouled off. Now, I'm going to ask you, if I read this note, if you think these 2 guys are Cub fans. Jeff Pothoff, P-O-T-T-H-O-F-F, and Bill Teubel, T-E-U-B-E-L. Showed bunt, and then it took him right out of there. So we watch the Cubs every day and think you guys are a lot of fun to listen to. We're from the University of Iowa, Milo's alma mater, which they wrote, I didn't add. And we have taken our last ever final exam at 9 this morning. Fouled off. We had to hand the test in early to make it to the game on time. Might not be an A, but first things first.
At least they have their priorities straight, Milo.
Jeff and Bill, I hope this... And boy, they had to get here in a hurry from Iowa City. That's a 5 or 6 hour drive. Lined in the right, and it'll drop in front of Hall for a base hit. So Chili Davis starts off the Giant 5th with a single.
I talked to Manny Trio before the game. Manny Trio was commenting a little bit on Sandberg at second base. Trio probably has the best footwork in the major leagues around the bag, and he said that the only thing he can see about Sandberg is, 1, he's a great second baseman, but 2, he's got to quicken his feet a little bit around the bag, and it'll keep base runners off of him. He says he'll get taken out a little bit until he learns to get the ball away. He said when he learns that, he'll be the best. Manny really likes the way he plays.
Coming from a guy who plays it pretty good himself. 1 ball, no strikes. In the other game that's going, Seattle at Oakland, they played an inning at Oakland. Seattle leads it 1-0 after that first inning. Now Billy Connors coming out.
Must have a talk, see if Russell's all right. Got to remember, he hasn't been throwing much. He's had no chance to strengthen that arm under game conditions.
And it's a lot different. You can throw on the sidelines, you can throw batting practice before the game, but nothing is like game conditions because you extend yourself just a little more. And you'd be surprised. You can throw 20 minutes of batting practice. The next day you won't be stiff. But if you throw a few innings in a game, the next day you felt like you played a football game. It's just that much more extension, and the muscles get that much tighter.
Chili Davis with good speed has a lead at first, stretched by Russell. And it's ball 2 to Manny Trio. Russell has walked 1, struck out 3. 6 hits off of him. Time was called down at first base. Buford and Chili Davis having a little chat. Now they're both ready again. And Jody Davis will be able to give the sign. Russell ready. Gets it in there to make it 2-1. Cubs won in front for the first time in the third with a 7-run inning. Second time in 2 days they've scored 7 in an inning. Did it in the second frame yesterday. Bouncer Durham's got to fall back. Now he's got to turn around, pick up a target. He's going to make the play himself. Now Russell got over there. It wasn't that he was delayed coming over at all. He's always been a good fielding pitcher. But take another look here.
A good play by Leon Durham because he's got to locate this ball over his head. Manny inside outs it. And going away from the infield, the Bull realizes he's just got enough time to get to the bag and eyelash ahead of Trio. Watch it again. He makes the decision, and gets him out.
All right. Runner at second. Oliver the batter. Oliver 0 for 2 today. Oliver is 2 for 7 in this series with a run batted in. 1 ball, no strikes. Oliver hitting .250 for the year.
He does not have a home run this year, but you know he has home run power. He's always been more of a line drive hitter, but he can take him out of the yard.
1 ball, no strikes. 2-0. And more often than not, he hits home runs here to straightaway center and to left center. 2 balls, no strikes. Setting up away. Ball 3 to Oliver. Clark due up next. The reason I brought that up is because with the wind blowing to right, you don't want to give him one to pull. He likes that ball away also. He's tough to pitch to today. And he walked him that time on 4 pitches. Maybe with that base open, he liked the look of Clark better than he did Oliver.
There you take a look at Don Buford at first base. Buford played his college baseball at Southern California.
Pretty good little running back, too.
Yes, sir. And there you take a look at Jack Clark. Look at those statistics. He is the man who provides constant power for the San Francisco Giants, and now Dickie Knowles is starting to loosen up. And the pitches are mounting up for Rick Russell, who hasn't thrown a lot. He's probably at that 80 pitch mark right now.
He threw 41 in the first 2 innings. So he's got to be close. We're in the 5th inning now. And with a little bit of work he's had, they're probably keeping track of him again today. 1 ball, no strikes. Clark is flied to left, popped to first. Had 2 hits yesterday, including a homer into the center field hitting background. Right about at the spot where Say hit his grand slam earlier today. There are the 2 runners. Davis second, Oliver first. Good speed at both cases. And a strike to Clark. 1-1 to Clark. Baker due up next. Giants batting in the 5th. They led 1-0 and 3-1. At the moment, they're trailing 8-4. So a trouble spot for Russell in the 5th inning. 2 on and only 1 down. One ball, 2 strikes to Clark.
I think manager Jim Fry would love to get this 5th inning out of Rick Russell. Then he'll probably go to the bullpen. And Rick, of course, is hoping to get through it, qualify for that win. He'd like to turn a 4-run lead over to Dickie Knowles.
Yeah, I'd hate to leave without qualifying after his ball club scored 7 for him in 1 inning. Jody asking, plate umpire does, but first base umpire Montague says,
If you're at home and you're wondering which umpire they ask, for a right-handed hitter, they will ask the first base umpire, and for a left-handed hitter, they look and ask the third base umpire.
So with 2 on and 1 out, ready for a 2-2 from Russell to Jack Clark. Still 2-2. Russell has worked into the 5th inning. He was touched for a homer in the 1st by Trio. Then Lemaster and Davis drove in runs against him in the 2nd. In the 4th inning, Brindley led with 1 out, homered.
Jody's talking about the signals right now and about location. Chili Davis has been on base for quite a while at second base, seen a lot of pitches, and he's concerned that he might be giving the location to Jack Clark. So last time, he gave the location inside, but he said outside. Let's see what he does here.
You can look right in. See him change and shift. Could be 2. They turn it. Around the horn she goes. 5-4-3. Say Sandberg Durham. That got the big guy out of a mess, Stoney.
A good pitch, and he did that. He set up inside and shifted outside. Got him to hit into 2.
So we've come to the halfway point. After 4.5, the Cubs have 8 runs on 8 hits. The Giants 4 runs, 6 hits.
Take it from Dave Lennox. You can really save on your cooling costs with a new Power Saver 2-speed air conditioner. Watch what happens when it downshifts to the low speed that may serve 80% of your cooling needs. The savings really add up. Call one of these Lennox dealers today. If you live in the northwest suburbs, call my friends Rich and Everett Brex.
Brex Arlington has been servicing this area for over 40 years.
Ridgeway Heating has 37 years experience in servicing South Cook County and Northwest Indiana. We're at your service. Attaboy, Dave.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Hey, give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It's a wild place.
All right, just bundle up and enjoy it. That's what they're doing here. That looked a little like Uncle Bobby, didn't it? We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Mel Hall will lead it off against Frank Williams. Hall flied out in the 2nd, 3rd inning walked. And that walk literally walked Garrelts out of the game. Lines it into left center. It'll drop. Baker heads it off. But Hall's going to challenge him anyway. Belly flopper in there. Hustling double by Hall.
This is called knowing your outfielder and knowing that Dusty Baker was going away from his throwing hand. He had to right himself to get the ball back into the infield, and his momentum was carrying him to the left. There you see a complete 360. Mel Hall takes advantage of that fact. It's good, solid base running on the part of Mel, and he hustles himself into a double. Watch it again. Dusty taking 6 steps before he can get himself together to make the throw, and Mel in at second.
So Jody Davis, who drove in a run the last time up. It was his 5th RBI with 5 hits against the Giants, so good ratio for him against the Giants staff.
Dusty is going to meet with the trainer. He might have hurt himself on that ball before.
You know, when he was batting earlier in the game, he stepped out a couple of times and kept flexing his right knee. He's had some knee problems.
Well, he hurt his ankle in San Francisco earlier in the year. And let's see what he's what he's going to look at now.
I think he's going to take himself out of the game here after he talked to the trainer. They're going to make a move. Gene Richards.
Yes, it is. He's going to come in. Going to get as much time as he wants to warm up. An exchange of the glasses, and Dusty is coming in. That could be a big blow to the Giants. They've got 5 proven major league outfielders, along with Gene Richards and the man you see exiting, Dusty Baker. They've got Jeff Leonard, who had a fine year for them last year. So they have a numbers problem in that outfield, and there are some who said that perhaps they'd make a deal using one of their outfielders to get a pitcher. But if he goes down for any length of time, they still have plenty of coverage out there.
So Richards will play some catch with the center fielder, Chili Davis. Mel Hall, meantime, waiting at second. Gordon Tech High School with a group out here again today for the second day in a row. Get to the top of the hour. You've got the Cubs and the Giants on WGN. Television 9 in Chicago, Chicago's very own, and America's #1 sports station. Milo Hamilton and Steve Stone with you here in the middle of this one, and the Cubs are out in front 8-4 with a chance to add to that here with a runner at second and nobody out. Get out my stocking cap, Dad. We're going to the ballpark.
I thought by this time in May you'd have put that thing away till next year.
So did he. In fact, Mom had to get it out of the attic this morning to get him to the park. All right, Jody will step back up in there. Hall with his lead at second. Nobody out. 1 ball, no strikes. W.T. Sullivan and the Iroquois chapter from Watseka out today. Goes the ball 2 to Jody, and from Whiting, Indiana, the Whiting High School W Club. 2 balls, no strikes. Hall, who led it off with a double. Jody trying to get him home. And that's a strike to make it 2-1 to the Cub catcher. Jody had the day off yesterday. So with the crisp weather, he's got to really be feeling strong up there.
All his replacement did was knock in 3 runs with a double and a home run. Steve Lake had a great day. And a needed day off for Jody.
2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Yesterday, Cubs got in front by 10, and it went down to the last swing by the Giants. They had the tying run at the plate, ended up 10-7. Here today, it's 8-4 Cubs. So when the wind blows out, you can't get too many. Tops foul down the third base side.
Manny Trio might have a word to say to Frank Williams. I'm not sure, but Manny was covering second base, and Frank Williams went to the plate. And there you see him saying something to Johnny LeMaster. That's lack of communication. That can cost you a run, and it doesn't have to. It opens up that whole right side. So the pitcher has to be aware when somebody's pushing him back, step off the mound.
That's the fellow who was trying to get back. Hall. 2-2 to Jody. Got him. Second strikeout for Williams. Third strikeout of a Cub in the game. Makes it 1 away in the 5th and brings up Larry Boa, who is 2 for 2. As Jody heads back into the dugout, saying that side armor's got me talking to myself. Boa singled in the second, tripled in the third, drove in a run, and later scored a run on a suicide with Rushell up there. And boy, they handled it real well. 8-4 Cubs. Now LeMaster started to move in behind Hall. Whirling, but no throw. Good thing, because LeMaster had been going the other direction already. Boa trying to make it 3 straight hits. 1 ball, no strikes.
It's particularly difficult for a sidearmer to throw to left-hand hitters because there's no deception. When he steps to the side, he opens up, and the hitter can see the ball all the way. Keeping the ball from the hitter's sight is one of the pitcher's main tools.
All right, a 1-0 to Boa. Got a little of the corner and makes it 1-1. Boa doesn't think so.
He's telling Dutch Renard, look, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but that looked a little low even on me.
Well, Dutch hadn't gone into his strike act for a while, so I guess he wanted to practice a little. 1 ball, 1 strike. With a pretty good lead, LeMaster sneaking in behind him, but the pitch will come to the plate. Now, he had a play at third, almost blew it, but finally threw and got away with it.
Bad base running on the part of Mel Hall. He took himself out of scoring position. And you've got to see if this ball gets to the pitcher or not before you run. There's Mel. He's already off. And Williams fires a strike to Youngblood. They put the tag on Mel. He's out, leaving Boa at first, but taking the Cubs out of a scoring situation.
It looked for a moment like he had taken Mel off the hook, because it looked like he looked and then was going to go to first. Then he turned again and says, hey. So now it's 2 away. Russell 0 for 1. Got credit for an RBI on the suicide squeeze in the third. 1 ball, no strikes to Russell.
I think that there's a premium on aggressive base running, but you've got to be selective in your aggressiveness. You can't make the bad base running plays. It's okay to be aggressive, taking an extra base perhaps at the top of the inning, as Mel did, but that one was just a poor judgment.
1-0 to Big Rick. 1 ball, 1 strike. Williams came on in the third. We are now in the 5th. Tomorrow and Thursday, the Dodgers will be here. Happy Hooten going to go in one of those, isn't he?
He's going to start the game tomorrow.
A ball and a strike. Got it in there to make it 1-2. And Welch will pitch the Thursday game. Sanderson and Trout are due up for the Chicago Cubs in that series. Looks like Greg Minton's going to test his arm in the bullpen. Did he go after it? Don't think so.
Minton took a line drive off his pitching hand yesterday before the game. They weren't too sure about him, but that bullpen is pretty sparse. You look down there, there's not too many people home for the Giants. So Minton is getting up.
Strikeout number 2 in the inning. 3 for Williams in relief. 4 against the Cubs in the game. So a leadoff double for the 2nd inning in a row did not come around to score. Hope that doesn't haunt you in about an hour. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a man left. We've played 5 innings. The Cubs are in front 8-4.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You're not just another face along the way to another place.
Sorry, can't use them. Maybe next year.
Don't need them. Great lunch.
You're the pride of United's friendly skies.
Dinner?
Oh, not just now.
Rough day, huh?
Twice that.
Hey, tomorrow's another day.
We should have been here yesterday. No, they're all right for us.
Got so many ways to fly ya.
Well, maybe I can do something about it.
Standing by ya.
Can you help out a dead battery in 18B?
Sure. It's got nothing to add up anyway. Tough trip, huh? What business you at?
You're not just flying. You're flying the friendly skies.
Are you sure you can get 350 million of them to me by the 1st?
You're not just
How was the trip?
Not bad.
You're flying the friendly skies.
All right, we're ready to go to the 6th inning. Rick Rushell has gone out there again, and he has a 4-run lead.
In the game that Rushell threw against Pittsburgh, Jim Fry also let him go out for that 6th inning, and that's the inning that he got into difficulties. He only wound up pitching 5 1/3. So here today, the same thing. He comes out for the 6th. Hopefully he'll have a little bit better luck. In that first game against Pittsburgh, he went 5 1/3. He gave up 7 hits and 3 earned runs. We lost that one 8-5. Rick got a no decision. He didn't throw badly, and he's really suffering from one thing, and that is lack of work.
All right, Richards with a 229 mark, no homers. He was a pinch hitter in the 8th inning yesterday. Fouled that one off, and he struck out. For the year against us, he's 1 for 4 with 2 ribbies, and there is Minton warming in their bullpen. Ball and a strike. Rick Rushell, the slimmed down version. Right at Durham, should be easy. It is. 1 down in the 6th. And to go back to what you were talking about, remember he hadn't walked anybody, and we were all amazed after the long layoff. But he opened up that 6th inning with a walk. This is a better start.
Well, I believe that Jim Fry wants to let him get some work in, let him get the pitches if he can all possibly can, get him through the 6th, maybe into the 7th, take the pressure off the middle relief a little bit.
Youngblood, the batter. 1 ball and no strikes. Cubs fell behind in the 1st on a home run by Trio into the left field catwalk, but they got the run back in the bottom of the inning. Foul ball down the 3rd base side. But the Giants got a pair in the next inning to lead 3-1. But then in the 3rd, the Cubs sent 10 men to the plate. 7 times they scored the big blow, a grand slam by Say, the 6th of his career. And the little skipper's chomping down again. He's in the Danny Murtaugh class when it comes to wearing out a bag of Red Man during a game.
He's worn out that Cub jacket also. You take a look at that. There's tobacco all over it.
Ron Say. Youngblood's gone, and it's 2 away in the 6th. Yeah, when Stoney and I are down there every day talking to him, we kind of give him a little needle about when you sending that thing out to get it cleaned. He says, I just did yesterday. Strained right hamstring for Baker. So that adds to other woes. He's got a knee problem, an ankle problem, and now a hamstring.
That's the grand slam of the leg problem.
1 ball, no strikes to Brenly, who has singled and homered here today. He's batting right here with nobody on in front of him and 2 down. We're in the top of the 6th. Boa sets up. No, he wasn't able to. He got to it. He knew he was going to have to set up on a dime in order to do it, and it'll go as a base hit. And Brenly is 3 for 3 with that great big bounce. Watch here.
Big smile on the face of Bob Brenly. Larry Boa gets the hop, but the ball hits him off the heel of his glove and doesn't stick in it. And he's credited with a base hit.
7 hits for the Giants. The Cubs have 9, and here's LeMaster. Giants shortstop 1 for 2 today with a run batted in. He drove in a run with a single in the 2nd, and in the 4th he lined out to left field. One ball and no strikes to LeMaster. We saw them in all the games in the spring, and then first series they thought he was going to be their leadoff hitter, but he's down in that 8th spot in this series. 209 average might have something to do with that. That's a slicing fly down the right side. That's trouble. It'll skip down into the corner. They will wave Brenly. And it's a double and an RBI for LeMaster. His 2nd hit. His 2nd run batted into the day. And we've got a 3-run game.
His 3rd triple of the year, 10th RBI on this season. This ball just keeps moving away from Mel Hall. Goes down into the corner. And on the play, Brenly scores all the way from first, and surprisingly, LeMaster holds up at second after that base-running miscue yesterday on the part of Randy Lurch. The last thing in the world Danny Ozark wanted to see was another man taken off the bases, and an inning ended at third base, so he made a pretty good call. And it looks like Dwayne Kuiper has grabbed the bat. There he is, Dwayne Kuiper, he of the .535 lifetime batting average against the Cubs, gets a chance to swing here today.
He likes to put the show on for the folks up in Wisconsin, I think.
Well, they were down at the game yesterday. His parents came off the farm to see him. Didn't get in the game. Hopefully they'll still be here today. And this is a day when Dwayne Kuiper has to look at those flags and say, well, maybe a chance to get that second home run of my career.
Kuiper from Racine, Wisconsin, will be batting for Williams, so Minton warming up now to be ready to come in. So the Giants will be using their third pitcher when we go to the bottom of the inning.
Pitching line on Williams, 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs that were earned, 3 strikeouts.
Runner at second as you see Dickie Knowles. So you've got both bullpens busy. Kuiper hitting .167, no homers, 3 runs batted in. This will be his first appearance of the series. And a strike. Kuiper was a batter twice in the series at Candlestick, and he went 1 for 2. One ball, 1 strike. 8-5 ball game. Wynn whipping up on the infield. 1 ball and 1 strike. Check of the runner at second. Bouncer short. Boa right there. On to Durham. Kuiper out. So the pesky little Kuiper didn't hurt us this time. But they get a run on 2 hits. LeMaster drove in Brenly. No errors, a man left. So we're in the middle of the 6th, tightened up there a bit. Cubs 8, Giants 5.
Hey, Jim. Ready to go a couple rounds, man? Yeah. Hey, Chan. Hey. How's everything ready to go?
See you good. I hear the same about you.
Gotta reach deep inside.
Bring out your best.
The
best. It has a taste all its own. You get your chance, enjoy it.
You'll know it's warmer outside when you see the great seasonal values inside the spring and summer catalog from True Value hardware stores. Relax in this director's chair, just $19.99. And for light garden chores, get the 3 cubic foot True Value wheelbarrow, only $18.88. Or choose this heavy-duty Contico 32-gallon trash can, just $14.88. And keep your lawn well groomed with a Lawn Chief rear bagging mower. They're all in the spring and summer catalog and at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
The North Shore Association for the Retarded is hosting a 2nd annual volleyball tournament May 13th. Call 869-4790 for details.
The sky's over Wrigley in Chicago as the Cubs lead the Giants 8-5, trying to make it 2 in a row in this series and 4 out of 4 from the Giants this year. And let's check in on Mr. Stone and what Minton's been doing.
Greg Minton on the year, 1-1, 403 earned run average, making his 13th appearance. He's finished 6 of those. He's got 1 save to his credit. 22 1/3 innings, 23 hits, 10 bases on balls, and 10 strikeouts. He's been touched for 2 long ones, and last year, Minton saved 22 ball games, which was tops on the Giants staff. He'll be looking at the top of the Cubs lineup, trying to preserve that 3-run deficit for the Giants to let them get back in the ball game as Dickie Knowles continues to throw. So perhaps that is going to be all for Rick Rushell, and Knowles will come on to pitch the top of the 7th.
One of those 2 homers that he's given up, and he doesn't throw them very often. Sandberg touched him for 1 at Candlestick.
The paid attendance, 4,000.
His first pitch to Denier is fouled up to the right side, out of play.
The total in the house, 4,861.
48-61 in the house total. So the cold wind kept it down here again today, and they had trouble with the weatherman again in Pittsburgh. Padres and Pirates have already been called. Bob Denier is 2 for 3 today, stolen base and scored twice. Oh, he's doing his job as a leadoff hitter. And this is the third time he's led off today. He batted twice in that third inning when the Cubs put a 7 up on the board. Got him up to 308 for the year. He and Sandberg both over 300 now. 1 ball, 1 strike. No guarantee of it, but when you got both of those guys hitting like that with Matthews and Durham and Say, you figure you're putting something up on that board, don't you?
Well, the Cubs were third going into this game offensively. That could rise maybe 1 notch.
Big hop for LeMaster. Throws out Denier. Sandberg will be stepping in. 1 out in the Cubs' 6th.
He's raised his average 10 points today with a 2 for 3 effort. There you take a look at the stats of Rhino. He just keeps getting better every year.
He's up to 318. Single and a double is a strikeout in between. Oakland and Seattle 1-1. They've played 3 innings at Oakland. Ryne Sandberg. Nobody on in front of him, 1 away. Cubs are leading in an 8-5 game. They got 7 big ones in the 3rd. 2 balls, no strikes. Greg Minton.
Minton is 6'2", 190 pounds, out of Lubbock, Texas, and he throws a very hard sinker. I believe at one time he went over 2 years without giving up a home run.
Right. Three balls, no strikes. Matthews due up next.
Coming into action today, Philadelphia led the National League with a .282 team batting average, trailed by Montreal at .277, and the Cubs at .275.
Got the strike call this time, and it's 3-1. Some of the fly balls that have been played here today, nobody's made any miscues, but you've seen some uncertainty out there because even though the wind's blowing out, it's swirling down on the playing field. That's a strike. 3-2. So you just got to stay right with everything here today. All right, let's see how he handles the payoff. That's the way, and that is his first strikeout and 5 against the Cubs in this game. Matthews has walked twice, scored a run, and the time they retired him in the 4th inning, he bounced out to second to Manny Trio. Nobody on, 2 down, 6th inning. Cubs led by 5 at one time. At the moment, they're leading by 3. 1 ball, no strikes. Leon Durham walked the first 2, if you're joining us late, then was called out on strikes in the 4th. He'll have another time or 2 to try to tie Hack Wilson for 5 homers in 5 days as a Cub. Ball. If he were to do it, what about tomorrow? Well, he'd be all alone if he did, because no Cub has ever done it 6 days in a row. But first things first, trying to sweep this series. Ball 3 and no strikes. Dale Long, who might have been the last left-handed catcher, at least for the Cubs, hit 8 straight, but he did that as a Pirate. 3 balls, no strikes to Gary Matthews. Nobody on in front of him with 2 down. And a strike. 3-1. Lester gliding behind the bag. Let's go in a hurry. And it's 3 up and 3 down in the Cubs 6th. We have played through 6 innings. Cubs trying to make it 2 in a row in this series and get the Giants out of town before the Dodgers. And the Cubs are leading 8-5.
This is a stress test. Rick Mears and the Penske Indy car have to run at speeds of over 200 miles per hour for up to 500 miles. The engine must hit over 10,000 RPM. This is a stress test, and this is no picnic for a motor oil. This is where Pennzoil's quality and high technology are tested to the limit. And this is why you want Pennzoil protection in your car. Pennzoil, high technology and quality. Ask for it.
What's on the horizon for TV? More than 100 broadcast and cable channels. That's why Zenith invented the Smart Set. The only set smart enough to give you 178 channel capability now. Smart enough to let you access more channels through Zenith's most advanced Space Command remote control. The Smart Set lets you tune in the future without leaving your chair. Advanced System 3, the Smart Set, exclusively Zenith.
All-Star Week on the Jeffersons continues tonight with Lou Gossett.
Hello, Louise.
George's old Navy buddy comes to town.
Really is good to see you again, George.
With his eye on Louise.
Remember, Wendell, as long as you're here, help yourself to anything you see.
Lou Gossett puts the moves on Louise. On the Jeffersons, tonight at 6:30 on Channel 9.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone as we go into the top of the 7th, and Dickie Knowles takes over from Rick Rusho.
There you take a look at the stats on Knowles, making his 8th appearance. 0-1, 554. Had a good outing last time out.
Here's Chili Davis. Hey, look, are they sound asleep? They're just so cold. Boy, it is a tough day. Pitch to Chili Davis, a little bit low and inside. The count evens up. A ball and a strike. Let's hope the weatherman with the Dodgers coming to town tomorrow will cooperate.
The last time Knowles threw, he pitched 4 innings against San Diego. Gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Was very impressive.
Now the pitch, Chili Davis, base hit, center field. Davis gets his 2nd hit. A line single to center. The Cubs lead only by 3. They got 7 runs in the 2nd inning yesterday. Once led 10-0. Wound up winning 10-7. Today they got 7 runs in the 3rd. Once led 8-3 after trailing 3-1. And now are holding on with a 3-run lead. Here is Manny Trio. Rick Russell allowed 8 hits and 5 runs during the 6 innings he worked. Here's a pitch swung and miss. And I thought, for not having been in any more games than he's been in all spring long, that he looked rather good.
We're going to have to see him throw about 3 times back-to-back, Harry, to really evaluate if he can help us during the course of this year. I'd like to see him get a chance. He didn't have his usual control today. But if he gets a chance to work, that arm will build itself up. His breaking pitches will be a little sharper. His control will be a little more pinpoint. Then you can really make that evaluation.
Now the pitch, here it is. And it's a breaking ball outside. 2 balls and a strike. Boy, the wind gusting. At least 17 miles an hour. It's Senior Citizens Day here today. 2 balls and a strike. Now the pitch, here it is. And it's a little bit low. Ball 3. Three balls and a strike. There goes the runner. Perfect hit and run through Sharp. Into left field, runners at 1st and 3rd. Boy, that was masterfully done by Manny Trio, who is just that at it. He picked his spot and he drilled it through sharp.
It was masterfully done because usually Sandberg's been covering. This time Boa covered. And just as if Manny Trio knew the defensive alignment of the Cubs, he went right to the vacated spot, bouncing a single through the left side.
So Dickie Knowles is in trouble. Here's Al Oliver. First pitch in there for a strike call. Oliver now represents the tying run at the plate. The pitch. Swung, and he foul tipped it. And he's in the hole 0-2, and boy, he was going for the downs on that. Oh, and 2 the count. All game in the 7th. The sun is trying to come out. The pitch. A little bit low. Boy, don't make too good a pitch of this guy. This game will be tied in a hurry.
Infield back, they'll trade the double play for the run.
Dickie Knowles is set. The pitch. High pop fly should be caught on the infield. Larry Bowa under the ball, and he has it. Oh, that's a big out. Oliver pops to Bowa. He's 0 for 3. And here's Jack Clark, who rolled into a double play in the 5th. Clark, their leading clutch hitter in game-winning hits. 5 homers this year, 19 RBIs, batting .356. But if you can get him to hit the ball on the ground, you have a shot at the double play.
The book on Clark is if you're going to come inside, come way in off the plate. Otherwise, stay away from him. You cannot make a mistake inside. He's too strong.
There's a pitch a little bit low. Gene Richards on deck. 1 ball, no strikes. Runners at first and third, 1 away. Dickie Knowles is set. The pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's grounded into 5 double plays this year. Not very fleet of foot. He also hits the ball pretty hard, so if he does keep it on the ground, he's a good bet for 2.
Now the delivery. Base hit up the middle. A run is in. Here's a runner going to third, no play. The throw goes into second base. Clark drives in the run. His 20th RBI of the year.
This one just barely gets out of the reach of Larry Bowa. Hits it pretty hard, and there you see the ball bounds into center field. On the play, Chili Davis scores. Manny Trio pulls into third, leaving runners still on the corners, and Jim Fry is coming out. There's nobody in the pen, so he just wants to have a word and calm Dickie Knowles down a little bit.
3 singles here. The Giants continue to show an ability to rack up the base hits. Tim Stoddard, who saved the day yesterday, is beginning to warm up again. So Knowles, after a fine performance in relief against San Diego over 4 innings the other day, has run into a buzzsaw in the very first inning today.
Richards is a tough hitter. He took the spot of Dusty Baker, who left earlier with a strained hamstring. Richards is fast, a tough man to double, and a contact hitter. He doesn't strike out much.
Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to left field. On the run is going to be in there for a fair ball. Base hit. 1 run is in. Another man around to third. Richards hit one down the left field line for a double. And boy, oh boy, the Giants now are about to take the lead.
This ball sliced away from Gary Matthews. Trio scores. Jack Clark on the way to third base, and Gene Richards in at second with his first double of the year.
And now here is Joel Youngblood. He's hitting us 0 for 3 today. It's 8-7 now. The tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second with only one out. The pitch. A breaking ball in there for a strike call. 1 strike to nothing. Bob Brenly, who's 3 for 3, is next. Dickie Knowles' pitch. Here it is. Swung and he fouled it back, and he's ahead of him now. 0-2, and here's a spot where he really wants a strikeout.
Ordinarily, you might think about coming inside, but all that will do for you is perhaps get a fly ball on a jam shot. So the next way of thinking is to throw that breaking ball low and away. Hopefully he'll swing at a bad pitch, or you can strike him out there. He struck out in the second inning on a slider down and away. They're going to work him in.
The pitch. There's a smash headed for left. Base hit. 2 runs are in on 0-2. There's a throw to the plate being cut off. The Giants have taken the lead. 0-2, and he hung the ball inside. And that has been a problem of Knowles when he's ahead of the hitter. He gets hurt so often.
It's not a good idea to throw the ball in there. He fisted it out into left field for 2 RBIs, and for Joel Youngblood, RBIs 13 and 14 on the year. That's going to be it for Dickie Knowles, who has surrendered 4 thus far and is responsible for Youngblood. And now Tim Stoddard is going to come in.
Crowd, I think, is really unhappy about Russell going out. They don't take into consideration that he had made a number of pitches and that he hadn't worked. This is only his second start of the season. And they figure they bring in the fresh pitcher, but it didn't work out because Knowles didn't have it here today. 6 men batted, 5 of them hit safely.
So Tim Stoddard will come on, and he threw great yesterday. He saved the ball game with a strikeout of Jack Clark, a strikeout of Dusty Baker. And Stoddard on the year 2-0, 203 earned run average, making his 10th appearance. He's got 1 save. That was yesterday's game. 13 in the 3rd innings, 9 hits. He's walked 12. He's struck out 12. And the Cubs are looking up at a 1-run deficit.
And the inning's not over yet. Brenly will be facing Stoddard. Knowles pitched 1/3 of an inning. Allowed 5 hits and 4 runs, and the responsibility for the man at first belongs to him. He had Youngblood 0-2. I'm sure he wanted to get the slider down. He got it up into the inside part of the plate. And Youngblood, who's made a career out of hitting Cub pitching, lined a 2-run single to left. Well, the Cubs held on to win 10-7 yesterday. Scored 7 in the 3rd today for an 8-3 lead. At the end of 6th, led 8-5, and now find themselves trailing 9-8. Don't go away, folks. The wind is still blowing. We're in the top of the 7th, and here's Brenly with 3 out of 3.
Yesterday, 30 hits and 17 runs. Today, 24 hits and 15 runs.
You can't give the wind all the credit for that. I think you have to also give a little discredit to the pitching on the part of both clubs. Here's a slider in there for a strike call. 1 strike and nothing. Bright sunshine at the moment. Maybe that'll warm things up a little bit. It usually does. Fastball is high to even the count. Brenly had 2 singles and a homer off of Rick Rushell. Rushell allowed 8 hits, 5 runs, and left the game at the end of 6 with an 8-5 lead. But that has vanished now, and it's the Giants who are in front, and they have one of the better relief pitchers in the game going for them in Greg Minton. A little low. 2 balls and a strike.
Brenly handles the bat well. This is a good situation for a hit and run. Youngblood's only got 1 stolen base on the year, so he doesn't look to be too much of a threat in that department. But Brenly took a long look down at Danny Ozark. Let's see if something is on.
It's gotten a little warmer here. It's 50 degrees now, but the wind is blowing more briskly at 21 miles an hour towards the right field wall. There goes the runner. Swung on, hit and run, high fly ball. Mel Hall's going to turn into a double play. With the runner going, Brenly loop one on the short right, and Hall getting a good jump on the ball, made the catch, and flipped into Durham for the double play. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go into the bottom of the 7th. The score: Giants 9, Cubs 8.
Scotts announces great news. Turf Builder Plus 2 Weed and Feed just got better. Plus 2 does more than wipe out weeds. Now it gives you even healthier, greener grass. And now Scotts can sell it for less. When Plus 2 gets better and costs less, that's amazing. New Plus 2 from Scotts. Now you pay less for the #1 selling weed and feed on Earth.
Canon is proud to be the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Like gold medalist Jennifer Chandler, it takes precision to perform at this level. Here, the Canon AE-1 program performs, capturing Chandler's high diving artistry through Canon's high technology.
And it's so simple, you flip for it.
Canon's AE-1 program, so advanced, it's simple. Enter the Canon Photo Contest and win a trip to the 1984 Olympics. Details at dealers.
Here's Leon Durham. 2 balls, no strikes the count. Greg Minton on the hill for the Giants. Ball is high, ball 3. Cubs are trailing now by a run in the bottom of the 7th. They may turn the bull loose on a 3-0 fastball. Ball 4. He walked him the 3rd time today that Durham has walked. And here's Ron Cey, who hit the grand slam in the 3rd. The previous home run this year that Cey hit was with 2 on. Today with 3 on. Remember last year, almost all the home runs the Cubs hit were with the bases empty. So here's Cey. Runner at first base. Nobody out. Greg Minton on the hill. It's his ball game now. Swung and he missed. Rick Russell will have nothing to show for this one except the satisfaction of leading at the end of 6 innings with the lead and having gotten very, very necessary work. The pitchers of record are Minton for the Giants and Knowles for the Cubs. Giants leading 9-8. Fouled and out of play. Minton got away with a pitch that time. The end of 5, Seattle 1, Oakland 1. Mel Hall on deck.
Lee Smith working in the bullpen now. So in case the Cubs get down to Stoddard's position at number 9 in the batting order, Jim Frey will make a change. Unless the run differential changes a little bit.
0-2 the pitch. There's a slider low and away. 1-2. Oh, for a hit. Look at that right field corner. You figure Say will be pulling. He hit one in the center field stands for his home run. With the bases loaded. Ground ball up the middle of the base hit. Here's Durham around second. He is going to hold up. So there's the tying and go-ahead runs on as Say ripped one up the middle. Davis was playing shallow. That's why Durham could not advance.
The Bull playing it safe. Looks like he had a shot at third base, but he says, well, there's no chance I'm going to get thrown out. Let's leave it up to the other guys. And so that leaves runners at first and second, still nobody out. Mel Hall, a tough man to double, up at the bat.
Mel Hall doubled in the 5th. He's 1 out of 2 today. Comes up with runners on at first and second. They don't know whether he's going to bunt or hit away. They're playing him shallow at first and third in case he bunts. There's a pitch outside, ball 1.
I got to believe that Jim Frey is going to let him swing away. He's looking down at Don Zimmer right now. But thinking about Frey, the wind is still blowing out. It's still a day that you score a lot of runs. Maybe we can get 3 with 1 swing of the bat. The base runners also taking a look at Don Zimmer.
Now ready is Minton. Look at the runners. Whoa, he bunts in the air, but there would have been a triple play if he bunted that ball fair. The runners were going with a pitch, and Hall bunted a pop foul into the air. Fortunately, where nobody could reach it.
It was a run and bunt. It's not a straight sacrifice because the men were off. And you remember Willie Davis, who used to play with the Dodgers. I had a ball bunted back to me, and Willie Davis, who was off with the crack of the bat, scored from second base on a bunt. So perhaps the same thinking was in line. With a good jump by Leon Durham, if that ball is bunted down third base, he might have had a shot at it.
Runners at first and second. Nobody out. Count is 1-1 now. Minton's pitch. Double play ball. Out at second, out at first. Trio fields the ball and just tags Say, throws over to first, easy double play. There's Jody Davis now.
There's nothing for Ron Say to do because by the time Trio got the ball, Say was in no man's land. He can't possibly get in a rundown, and Trio completes the double play.
Here's Jody Davis. Drove in a run in the 3rd. It's 9-8 in favor of the Giants, and what an opportunity the Cubs had. A moment ago, runners at first and second and nobody out. Now a runner at 3rd with 2 out.
There's an opportunity here for a short pass ball or a wild pitch. Minton keeps the ball down, has been known to throw the ball in the dirt.
Into the dirt, but Brenly is there.
Nice play by Brenly. He just saved what would have been the tying run.
1 ball, no strikes. Jody Davis, that double play took the heart out of this chilled crowd. Ball is outside, ball 2.
Minton would rather face Larry Boa. He realizes that Jody is paid to knock in the big runs. Jody with 18 RBIs. So Minton is going to be very careful. I don't look for him to throw Jody a good hittable strike.
2 balls, no strikes, a fifth. Swung, and he missed. And the count, 2 balls and a strike. The wind blowing 21 miles an hour towards right field. There's a young lady and a young gentleman atop the roof watching the game. There's the tying run, Leon Durham. Ball 3 is low. I wonder if Boa will hit or whether they'll go to the bench should Jody Davis get on.
I would like to see Richie Hebner or Bill Buckner coming up in this situation with the wind blowing a gale out to right field. Let's see if Jim Frey is thinking along the same lines.
3 balls and a strike. There's a shot. The game is tied. Base hit. Jody Davis came through. Jody Davis. RBI number 2 for the day.
Knock in the big runs he does. That's 20 RBIs on the year. This ball almost bounds over the head of Gene Richards, and the Bull scores the tying run, and Larry stays in the game.
Now Knowles is off the hook, and it becomes Stoddard against Minton. Here's Larry Boa. 2 hits today. He scored Davis all the way from first on his triple to right in the 3rd. He was going to try to bunt his way on. Tim Stoddard on deck. Lee Smith getting ready in the bullpen. There you see Smitty. Low wide evens the count. A ball and a strike. Right back to the pitcher, a line drive. Wasn't really hit that hard. So 1 run out of all that. 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 7, it's tied up 9-9. Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Remember Saturday, May the 19th. The Cubs will be playing Houston here, and it'll be Cubs Cap Day. Every fan entering the park that day will receive a Cubs cap. So make your plans now. That's Saturday, May the 19th, and the following day, Sunday, May the 20th, will be Toiletry Kit Day. The toiletry kit is a perfect complement for all of your summertime travel needs. So there's a big weekend against Houston with giveaways both Saturday and Sunday, the 19th and the 20th. And then the following week, it'll be Poncho Day at Wrigley Field. The Reds will be the attraction. And on Saturday, May the 26th, every youngster will receive a Cubs poncho as they enter the park. Here we go into the 8th inning. Johnny LeMaster, 2 out of 3 with 2 RBIs, will lead it off. Stoddard. Gary Lavelle getting ready in their bullpen. One of the best left-handed relief men in the business. Ball is high. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitching staffs of neither team has distinguished itself in this series.
It's been a tough series for the earned run averages, and the Giants, who had a sub 2-point earned run average for the previous 11 games, given up a bundle here, as have the Cubs.
Here's a bouncing ball that's going to go for a hit into short left field. LeMaster singles softly, but nevertheless through the infield.
They're going to let Minton hit for himself now because, number one, he's a pretty decent hitter, and number two, the sacrifice is in order. So Greg Minton will stay in the game. Lavelle will sit down. Let's see how the Cubs defense this supposed bunt.
Well, I hope they're as unsuccessful as we were. And Mel Hall failing to bunt, then grounded into a double play. There goes the runner. There's a play there. Going to get him. He's out trying to steal. Minton, they tried to run and bunt too. Minton missed the pitch. And Jody Davis's perfect throw got LeMaster.
Jody's thrown out well over 55% of the men he has tried to steal, and this is a big, big out right here. Look at the forearm that LeMaster tries to throw into the glove of Larry Boa to knock the ball out. It doesn't work. He's out. Stoddard dodges a bullet.
So there's one out now, nobody on. Foul tipped. Strike two. He started the swing trying to check. He may have tipped it. 1-2 the count. Strike three call. 2 men are gone. Here's Chili Davis coming up. They're watching us out in Covina, California. And boy, they know how to hurt a guy. They tell us it's 102 degrees in Covina right now. This is Wrigley Field, Chicago, and it's not 102 degrees. Here's Chili Davis, high, pop fly. Should be caught. Mel Hall is there. Now he loses the ball for a moment, but now he grabs it. Staggered under it, but caught it. And it's no runs, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. We go into the bottom of the 8th, tied up 9-9.
There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place.
Believe it or not, there's finally joy in Mudville. Introducing the 1984 Toyota Tercel.
There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face.
This front-wheel drive Tercel will get you where you're going with more room inside than any other subcompact. The new Toyota Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car.
And finally, there is joy in Mudville.
Sally Bell dreams of being the best at whatever she does, so she practices hard every day. Someday her dream might come true. And when it does, McDonald's will be there, because we help sponsor sports from gymnastic teams to the Olympics for one reason. We believe these dreams not only make better athletes, they make better kids.
See America's Olympic hopefuls this weekend in McDonald's USGF Gymnastics Championships of the USA at Northwestern's McGaw Hall. Dial tickets for information.
We go into the bottom of the 8th. There you see it all. 18 runs, evenly divided, 25 hits. The Giants having 14 of them and only 1 error in this wild ball game. You're watching exciting Chicago Cubs baseball through WGN Channel 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station. Richie Hebner is going to be the pinch hitter. They're watching at Sigma Nu Fraternity House at LSU in Baton Rouge.
Hebner is 3 for 5 as a pinch hitter. There you look at those stats. 1 RBI. Good day to the long ball.
The pitch by Minton is a little high. 1 ball, no strikes. 9-9 tie. Bottom of the 8th. Wide ball 2.
There's a dilemma for the pitcher, Greg Minton. He's a sinker ball pitcher, but Hebner is a great low fastball hitter. When a sinker ball pitcher tries to keep the ball up on purpose, he has trouble maintaining that control.
These 4,400 people sound like about 44,000.
The home run number 200 for Richie Hebner. The second late inning pinch homer for Hebner. The last one won the game against St. Louis. And that one just barely made it, but it was enough.
There's Bobby Dernier now, and the pitch is high. Look at a happy Richie Hebner, who's a grave digger in the wintertime. He might have dug a grave for the Giants if we can hold him in the ninth. That was his 200th home run, and he'd like to get that baseball back, and I'm sure he will. There's Chuck Rainey walking toward you. There's the Penguin. Home run hitters stick together. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, they call Richie Hebner Hacker, and the reason is that he just goes up there swinging. And this was a fastball on the inner half. There you see, over the head of Jack Clark.
2 balls and a strike. Well, if we do a 10th inning show today, Arnie, that's the man. There's a pitch a little bit inside. Ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. Ball game in the 8th. 10-9 in favor of the Cubs.
It'll be Lee Smith in the 9th for the Cubs. He's still warming in the pen.
A high hopper, but it's foul. Don Zipper.
You'd certainly like to put a couple more on the board here. There's no lead that's safe. We have proven that conclusively over the 2 games. The only thing that has stopped the game is they've run out of at-bats.
Stoddard got his first save yesterday. He could get his 3rd victory today. Ball 4, he walked him. And Bobby Dernier, for the 3rd time today, has reached base. Here's Sandberg. He's been a busy man. Driven in a run, had 2 hits.
That's the 11th time in the last 5 games that Dernier has gotten on base. Ideal for the leadoff man.
They throw over there. Dernier is back.
They might try a pitch out in this situation because it's ideal for either a steal or a hit and run. Let's watch what Brenly decides to do.
Hey, they might get him. Close. Lee Smith will be shooting for his 6th save, which he's had difficulty acquiring. Again, they throw over. Dernier had him read well that time. Greg Minton on the hill. 10-9 in favor of the Cubs. Into the dirt. He's short enough to bunt.
Brenly's done a nice job today handling the pitchers. Blocked a lot of pitches in the dirt. Minton throws the ball down there quite a bit.
Watch Dernier. He might go. Oh, pitch out. They thought he was going to go, too. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Dernier stole 2nd in the 3rd. Richie Hebner's pinch home run on a 2-ball, no strike count has given the Cubs the lead again. Dernier is back. The outfield is playing straight away against Sandberg. 2 balls, no strikes to count. They throw over there, he's back. Greg Minton. There goes the runner. Swung and he missed the peg. He's in there with a stolen base. Sandberg swung at ball 3, but he did so to help protect the runner all he possibly could.
The second stolen base of the day for Dernier. A difficult ball for Brenly to throw. All he tries to do is get the ball away as quickly as possible, but it's not quick enough. The 8th stolen base for Dernier, and you see the straight line he takes right at the bag, easily in at second base.
So now there's a man in scoring position with nobody out. Cubs will be trying to add some insurance. He bunts but foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sandberg has raised his average to .315. You'll see the 2 best second basemen in the National League against each other tomorrow. Steve Sachs for the Dodgers. Ryne Sandberg for the Cubs. 2 brilliant young second basemen. They can do it all. And Sandberg is the steadier of the 2 in the field. 2-2 pitch. Drive on headed for right field. Third. Here's the throw to the plate. Save. And on the throw, Sandberg advances to second. And the Cubs now have a 2-run lead. The second RBI of the day for Sandberg.
Good base running by Sandberg. He realized that Oliver was going to let the cutoff throw go through. No chance to get Dernier at home plate, and as soon as it goes through, Sandberg is on his way into scoring position. And let's just watch Dernier. You see him round the bag because you don't want to cut out too far. He makes it easily, and Sandberg is in scoring position.
Boy, and I tell you, that Zimmer is an outstanding third base coach. He's always in the proper position where the runner can see him. Here's Matthews now. You know that Sandberg, hitting second, has 19 RBIs. The leader on the team has 20, and that's Roundtree. Jody Davis now has 20. He's tied with Say for the lead. Sandberg has 19. Gary Matthews. There's a curveball strike call. Well, the Cubs bench that we've been talking about all year, there it goes again. Richie Hebner comes off the bench. It's a home run in the bottom of the 8th to put you ahead. A little bit low outside.
That was a case of Sandberg doing the right thing that resulted in a base hit. He went to the right side after trying to bunt the man over to third. He realized that he had to get him over there. He got it by Manny Trio and got himself an RBI.
Gary Matthews will be trying to do the same thing as he did earlier in the game. Nobody out with Leon Durham coming up next. Minton's going to go all the way. There's nobody in the bullpen warming up. There's a strike, a curveball, and he's out on strike. One away, here's Durham, who's had 3 bases on balls today. And if he's to extend that home run hitting streak to 5 games in a row, it's got to be here. They're
going to put him on first base, so that streak will go down the drain. They really haven't given Leon much of anything to swing at today. Even the time when he struck out on some pretty tough pitches, a disputed third strike. So with only one official at bat, the streak goes by the boards.
He will have walked for the 4th time today. And the Giants are making sure that he doesn't hit a home run today. Here's Ron Cey, who made him rue this situation. When they walked Durham filling the bases in the 3rd, that's when he hit the grand slam. Now he comes up with runners at 1st and 2nd. 1 out. Cey has had 2 out of 4 today. The grand slam, of course, being the big blow. There's a smash to the shortstop. It'll be a double play. And the inning is over. 6-4-3 hit the ball hard, but right at Lemaster, who via Trio and Oliver completed the double play. It is 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. We go now into the top of the 9th with the score, Cubs 11, Giants 9.
This Bud's for everyone who keeps things rolling on the mighty Mississippi.
Breakaway bars, please respond.
Get him.
We're right below here, all the way out. I'll come around and port side the bumper there.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Popcorn, snacks, drinks. Okay. I'm getting ready for an exciting evening. I just bought a Bearcat 210 XL scanner from Service Merchandise. Boy, can this little guy do a lot. With the touch of a button, I'm in tune with what's happening out there. The police calls, 10-4 and all that. Emergency vehicles like firemen and ambulances, plus weather reports. And my Bearcat does all the searching. 15 channels a second. And here's another plus. Service Merchandise has the 210 XL on sale for $199.97. 10-4.
Headquarters calling car 50.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone were at Wrigley Field. We go into the top of the 9th. And it's up to Lee Smith now to protect a 2-run lead, 11-9. 20 runs, 27 hits. 1 error today. Gary Woods is going to take over in left field, which will enable him to... that guy came prepared for Covina, California with that shirt.
The last time we saw Lee Smith was the middle game of the San Diego series. He didn't fare very well. 2 1/3 innings, 3 runs on 4 hits. It was a tough outing for the big guy. And on the season, Lee Smith 2-2, 442 earned run average, making his 14th appearance. He leads the club with 5 saves, 18 1/3 innings, 21 hits, 12 bases on balls, and 14 strikeouts. And Lee has finished 11 of those 13 previous games. He'd like to finish this one, get out of all this offensive thrills.
Well, he's going to have to earn it because they have all the good hitters coming up. Trio, Oliver, and Clark. Starts off with a fastball strike. Bright sunshine at the moment. Maybe winter will end today. Here's the pitch low. A ball and a strike. Seattle has taken the lead at Oakland 2-1 in the 7th. And the only other game underway, Manny Trio takes high. Trio homered and singles so far, 2 out of 4. Still a fine second baseman. There's a strike. And boy, Smith is throwing good right there. Manny Trio's been in the major league since 1973. He'll be 34 in December, born on Christmas Day. 2-2 pitch. High fly ball should be caught. Gary Woods is calling for it. Now Bobby Dernier. Dernier takes it. 1 out. And here's Al Oliver. Here's a threat. He's 0 for 3 today. Jack Clark on deck. There's a slider, barely misses. Cubs, 21 runs in the 2 days. The Giants have scored 16 in 2 days and have yet to win one. Ground ball should get him. Larry Boa in time. 2 out. One more and it'll be over. But here's Jack Clark. Clark is 1 out of 4 today. The crowd, small as it may be in this cold weather, is already starting to get to its feet.
They'll have to start if they want to get up by the last strike. It's so cold.
There's a strike call. The sun, having served its penance, is now being permitted to come out from behind the cloud. High drive, right field, look out, near the wall, might be out of here. And it is a home run over the right field wall. Jack Clark makes it 11-10.
That's why the out of Oliver was so important, because Clark has this potential. His 6th home run, his 21st RBI of the year.
Boy, and he goes to the opposite field with this one.
And this shows you how strong he is, one, and how hard the wind is blowing, because this is a fly ball that just gets blown out of the park.
There's Gene Richard. He drove in a run and put men in scoring position for the tying and go-ahead runs, which Joe Youngblood drove in the 7th inning. So let's get it over with right here. The pitch. Fastball high. 11-10 is the score in favor of the Cubs. High pop foul. Over to the stands and out of play. The Penguins went over there hoping the wind might blow it back to where it might be catchable. There's Frank Robinson, the manager of the Giants, and Jim Fry. Tony Garofalo to the left there. A little bit inside, ball 2.
Lavelle is loosening up for the Giants in case they get down to Greg Minton's spot.
Foul ball headed for right field, base hit. Well, I tell you, it's been a long time since Smith has had a good outing in relief. And we got to be concerned about that.
Got to be a little bit concerned about this fellow up at the bat.
Yeah, Youngblood.
Last time up, 2 RBIs on a single. He's only 1 for 4, but he has pounded the Cub pitching. Good clutch hitter. Average is down a little bit. He doesn't have the greatest power in the world. He does not have a home run this year, but he did hit some last year. Joel Youngblood hit 17 home runs for the Giants a season ago, so he's got some power.
Gene Richards, since replacing Dusty Baker, who had a leave with a pull hamstring, is 2 out of 2. He represents the tying run. Youngblood represents the go-ahead run. But the way this thing is going, don't worry, friends, we bat last. Youngblood.
If you're in the outfield, you're thinking about just playing deep, making sure that Richards doesn't score. You don't try for any spectacular catches. You try to keep the ball in front of you, but you cut off everything in the alleys if you at all possibly can.
Youngblood from Houston, Texas. Wichita High. His parents watch the games all the time down there. I know he wants to be remembered to them. A ball and a strike. 2 out, 1 on. Cubs leading by 1. Swung and a miss. And it's 1-2 now. And here comes the crowd to its fate. Everything. There goes the runner. There's the peg. Save. Jody Davis got the ball away quickly and beautifully. But Richards had a good lead.
Lee just forgot about Richards at first base. He takes advantage and gets in just under the tag. And Jody makes a great throw, but there's no chance to gun him down.
Well, now it just takes a base hit to tie it up for the Giant. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. High pop fly. Right field. Oh, Mel Hall misjudges it. It goes over his head. The game is tied. A triple for Youngblood. Holy cow. Mel Hall start running in.
Well,
watch it again.
He's been out there all day, and he realizes the wind is blowing a gale, and he took 3 steps in. There you see him trying to drift in, and by the time he makes that mistake, the ball hits off the warning track. That was the last out of the game. It turns into a triple. The tying run scores, and Youngblood winds up at third base.
Here now is Brindley, who's a hot hitter today. 3 out of 4. Well, Stoddard no longer can win this game. And Smith can no longer save it. But what he's worried about now is losing it, because it's his ball game. Oh, and 1. Into the dirt. A great save in there by Jody Davis. I don't know what biorhythms are, but they certainly weren't. This is not Mel Hall's day.
Nice play by Jody Davis. He keeps the ball in front of him and saves the go-ahead run from scoring. Now Dutch Renard wants to take a look at the ball. It was in the dirt, and he gives it back to Jody. And Jim Fry is out there to find out if his knee is okay. Apparently it is. There's nobody throwing in the bullpen.
All this started with 2 out when Jack Clark lined a home run over the right field wall. Then Richards grounded the single in the right field. Youngblood apparently hit the game-ending out, but Mel Hall misjudged it. And it went over his head for a triple. And now the count 1-2 on Brindley. Johnny LeMaster on deck. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Mel Hall will be the first man up. One-two pitch. Struck him out. 2 runs, 3 hits. No errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. All tied up at 11.
Compare Toyota trucks with any small truck. Nobody else has 2-wheel drive sport trucks with electronic fuel injection. Not Chevy S10, not Ford Ranger, not Datsun. Toyota's 4x4s have more running ground clearance than S10 Ranger and Datsun. And this Toyota 4x4 costs almost $600 less than Datsun's. Get more truck for your buck. See your Toyota dealer now. Compare quality, value, and price. It's Toyota, not the other guys.
Come on, Dad. I didn't need college to know gas is gas.
Not true, son. Gasolines are they're kind of like people. Take Nick there. He's very special. A unique blend of qualities gives him a spirit nobody else has. And 76 gasolines are blended to give them spirit.
Thanks, Dad.
I'll get it.
Hey, Nick, I just learned how spirited our gasoline is.
Well, yeah, kind of like people. Well, take Murph there. He's very special.
Fill her up with spirit.
Like 76 gasolines, they're blended to give them spirit.
The spirit of 76.
St. Boniface Church in Tinley Park will present an organ recital benefit May 13th. For more information, call 232-0133.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. It isn't a football game you're watching. It's just a football weather. 11-11, I know, sounds more like a football score. Here's Mel Hall. And Mel, here's the Wolves. Well, they could turn all that into cheers with one swing. He's had a tough day. He rolled into a double play with runners at first and second and nobody out in the 7th. But it doesn't take much if you can hit the ball in the air towards right field. Minton's pitch. A low outside. Hall hitting .313. He's 1 out of 3 today. Ball is high, ball 2.
I'm a little bit surprised that Frank Robinson didn't flip-flop his order, put Lavelle in the game. Minton was having some problems last inning, and now Frank Robinson is coming out. I don't quite understand this strategy on the part of Robinson.
He doesn't have anybody warmed up in the bullpen yet, but Lavelle...
Well, Lavelle's been throwing, yeah, so he should be loose, but he let him start the inning, and there you look at Gary Lavelle. It would make sense to bring in Lavelle to face a left-hander, but if he makes a move to Lavelle, you've got Jody Davis coming up next, so it's been a strange, managed couple of games for Frank Robinson.
From the looks of these scores, a part of everybody. Now the discussion between Greg Minton and Frank Robinson has ended. And Robinson now gets in a little discussion with the plate umpire, Dutch Rennert. And here's Mel Hall, who's had his own problem. Two balls, no strikes. The outfield plays deep, of course. Oh, he swung at a bad pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Clark, the right fielder, playing very deep near the warning track. There's a looper in the left field, going to drop for a hit. The winning run is on. And Jody Davis coming up. Jody has driven in 2 runs today. With Larry Bow on deck. Lavelle continues to work in the bullpen. And the Giants infield is getting itself together as to what they want to do.
There you take a look at Gary Lavelle. I know he's loose. He's been up about 4 times. But Frank Robinson doesn't want to bring him in to face Davis.
Mel Hall pitches low. Hall has the speed of a good base runner. Doesn't quite have the instincts. Something he'll undoubtedly improve with experience. There goes the runner. Fly ball in the right field, and it's going to be, oh, it's trapped, I think. It's trapped, and it's a base hit. And Mel Hall was caught. He didn't know what to do because they didn't give a quick signal. Clark picked the ball up with his glove. A trap. It's a hit.
The only thing for Mel Hall to do, he's standing close to second base. He's got to just stay there because if Clark does come up with the ball, he can't possibly get back. And so it's a trap, a base hit for Jody. And let's watch it again. Clark makes a nice effort, comes in and keeps the ball in front of him. But that leaves 2 men on, and Harry, you're right about one thing. We do have the last at bat, and that comes in handy today.
Well, that's the way the whole series has been going. Whoever hits last wins. I mean, it's just a great gross quantity of runs being scored. 10-7 yesterday, 11-11 today. And here's Larry Boa.
And if I was Dernier, I'd start to be concerned about the game-winning hit because if Larry gets the bunt down, they'll walk the next guy, and it'll come to Bob Dernier at the top of the order.
Minton ready. The ball is bunted nicely. The only play is third safe. Everybody is safe. Beautiful bunt by Larry Boa. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Watch this bunt.
Mel Hall's speed comes in handy because he gets to third an eyelash before the ball. Umpire Lee Wire makes a safe call. A bad judgment play by Joel Youngblood, and now there's no place to put the pinch hitter. Watch it again. Mel Hall with great speed gets a good jump off second, and you can credit that to the play at third.
Now Bill Buckner is going to come out to bat for Gary Woods. Gary Woods was flip-flopped, you know, with Lee Smith when he came into the ball game. So Buckner, a left-handed batter.
And unless someone riveted Frank Robinson's pants to the bench, he's going to come out and take out Minton in favor of Lavelle as soon as Buckner is announced.
They have to give Boa a hit on that bunt, don't they?
I think they'll give him a fielder's choice. I don't think it'll be a base hit. He'll get a sacrifice.
He couldn't have thrown him out at third.
Oh, he could have thrown him out easily, yeah.
Boy, the bunt was laid so beautifully down the third base line. All right, the bases are loaded, nobody out. Bill Buckner is being announced as the pinch hitter for Gary Woods. If they bring in Lavelle, Bill getting a nice hand. And here's Frank Robinson coming out, which means that Gary Lavelle, the left-hander, is going to be brought in here. They're converging around the mound as Frank Robinson slowly walks to the center of the diamond. Bases loaded, nobody out. And here's Gary Lavelle.
Lavelle is 2-1 on the season, .391 earned run average, making his 17th appearance. He's finished 14 of those. He's got 5 saves to lead the club, 25 in the third innings, only 17 hits. He's struck out 25, and he's walked 8. He has given up 3 home runs, which is unusual for him, and he comes into a very perilous situation. Bases loaded, nobody out. A contact hitter in Bill Buckner, you're not going to strike him out. And so Lavelle has got to think of something. Got to think about that short pop-up fly ball. The outfield is going to be brought in all the way. Not many places where Buckner can hit the ball where he won't score that run from third.
You think a manager would have the guts to pinch hit Keith Moreland here for Bill Buckner?
No, I don't.
Wow. Bases loaded. Nobody out. What do you think has the best chance of hitting Lavelle?
In this situation, I like Buckner's chances, Harry, because he's not going to strike out. He's going to make contact. He's going to hit the ball somewhere. And even though Lavelle has an excellent slider and is very tough against left-hand hitters, Buckner is perennially one of the most difficult men to strike out in baseball. So he'll go up there with a good shot. If he's patient, he'll get a pitch to hit somewhere. And the odds are all with Buck because everybody's in. All he's got to do is hit a medium fly ball, and the run's going to score.
I tell you, look where the outfield is, Arnie.
Looks like a softball game in progress.
It looks like they got 7 infielders because the long fly would score the winning run anyway. Look at him. Look at the center fielder.
Not only a long fly, but if he were to pop up down the right field line where Al Oliver had a shot at it, he's got a terrible arm at first base. They might want to send Mel Hall on Al Oliver's arm.
There's Buckner now. Gary Lavelle trying to get out of a seemingly impossible situation. He has won 2 and saved 5 for the Giants so far this year. Buckner hitting .235 with no homers and 2 RBIs. There's the winning run, Mel Hall. Right to the shortstop, throws the plate for 1 over to first. No double play. 1 hampered to Lemaster, who got the force play. And so it's up to Bobby Dernier now.
This is hit right at Lemaster. Buckner catches it up around the handle. Lemaster picks it off. Buckner hustling down the line is the only thing that saved the double play on the return throw from Brenly. And that leaves the bases still loaded.
And now Keith Moreland's going to hit.
And a pinch runner at third base, Henry Cotto, has come in. He's going to run for Jody Davis, and there's Keith Moreland warming up.
Keith Moreland will be the pinch hitter. The wheels are really spinning. Now let's see, the outfield is still playing shallow. They have to. Hey, you know something? On a solid enough single to center field, you know that you could get a double play and the winning run when that's scored. Look where that Chili Davis is playing. If the ball's hit to him on 1 hop, with a fellow like Moreland running, he could conceivably get a double play on it. Here's Moreland hitting .228. He's had 2 out of 5 in the series. The infield in, the outfield in. Lavelle's pitch. Low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Never a dull ball game. This may not be the prettiest ball game artistically, but for action, you can't beat it. 22 runs already. Ball 2. Hey, Moreland won again the other day with a base on balls, forcing in the winning run. And he's got a chance to do it again. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a fly ball. The Cubs win. The Cubs win. A base hit over Clark's head. And Keith Moreland ends this bloody duel. And the Cubs have swept the series, winning today 12-11. Holy cow. Moreland drives in the winner. We'll be back with the totals and the highlights in a moment.
It's not just a race. It's a game. And They think I'm tired. Maybe they'll make their move.
Bring out your best.
Then I'll make mine.
Bring out your best.
Bud Light.
Bring out your best.
Bud Light.
The best has a taste all its own. Enjoy it.
Bud Light.
Make Mom's favorite recipes easier to prepare. Give her new cookware for Mother's Day from True Value hardware stores. Choose this versatile West Bend electric skillet featuring a Silverstone non-stick interior. For efficient microwave cooking, give her this Rubbermaid 8-piece cookware set that stacks to save space. And Mom can have 10 cups of delicious coffee ready in minutes with this Mr. Coffee automatic brewer. See all these practical Mother's Day gifts at participating True Value hardware stores.
Harry Carey and Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs have done it again and have taken over, undisputed as it were, possession of first place in the National League East, pending the outcome of the Giants game tonight. And you know, Steve, this is the Cubs' 16th victory. Out of a total of 27 games that they've played, they're 16-11. Do you know last year they played 40 games before they were able to win their 16th? So that makes them 13 games on the loss side ahead of where they were a year ago at this time.
Well, Harry, if you like your baseball offensively, Wrigley Field is the place to be. 40 runs, 63 hits in the last 2 games, and they weren't pitchers' days. The hitters took over, and fortunately, the Cub hitters hit last. They got a chance to pull this one out. It wasn't artistic, but it certainly was exciting, and the Cubs continue to play very exciting baseball.
Well, it was so cold here and such a small crowd. Thank goodness for WGN and Channel 9 that so many people, not only in the Chicago area, but all across the country could see this game, because you rarely see this much hitting and this much scoring and this much all kinds of baseball, good, bad, and indifferent. And here is the hit that ended it all, Steve.
The outfield was drawn in, and Keith Moreland just gets his bat on one. It's a routine fly ball to right field, but in this situation, Jack Clark has no shot at it. And the great part about this game, Harry, is if you are a GOAT for an instant, you get a chance to be a hero. And Mel Hall, who misjudged that fly ball in the 9th inning, came up with a big single in the bottom of the 9th inning, and that was the guy who got on base that started everything off.
You know, I still want to get back and talk about Rick Russell. I was pleased with his performance. You're looking always for pitching, who's going to help you when the weather gets a little warmer and when you have a 5-man rotation going for you. And as you mentioned several times, it's pretty hard to really get a reading on a pitcher, especially a veteran who's 35 years old, who's been around the block, unless he's working regularly, because he is a controlled-type pitcher. And I thought under the circumstances, he was especially impressive.
Well, when you don't have a chance to work a great deal, you don't have the arm strength, you don't have the control. And Rick came up, he did a decent job today. It wasn't a great job by any standard. But Dallas Green has shopped around, as has everybody else in baseball. And you realize that you're not going to get a quality starting pitcher at this point of the season. So your starting rotation has to come from within, and Russell looks to be the logical guy for the 5th starting spot. And Harry, is this a wind tunnel here?
I was just going to say to you, Steve, I think you ought to change your hairspray because it's not holding it down.
Well, I'm glad I'm not wearing a wig today, Harry, or else it would be somewhere in the back of the booth. But, boy, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to be here tomorrow to watch that Los Angeles game, because if it's as exciting as these, we're going to need some headache pills before it's over.
Hey, listen, how about walking Leon Durham 4 times? How's the poor guy ever going to hit 5 home runs in 5 days if on every 5th day they're not going to pitch to him?
Well, they showed that they weren't going to throw much of anything today. He only had 1 at bat, and he struck out. That was a disputed pitch. But Leon Durham showed patience, Harry. In a normal situation, you'd go up there and swing at a lot of pitches that you couldn't handle. But Leon said, well, if the streak is going to go by the boards, I'll get on base 4 times and help the club.
All right, a thrilling victory. See you tomorrow, Steve.
Okay.
Hey, here quickly now is 12 runs on 16 hits for the Cubs, 11 runs on 17 hits for the Giants. The Cubs have taken over first place, pending the outcome of the Mets game tonight. The Cubs are all alone atop the National League East standings with a record of 16-11. That's the story with Steve Stone, Harry Carey from frostbitten Wrigley Field, where the Cubs down the Giants 12-11. Hope you enjoyed the telecast, and this Bud's for you.
Our participating advertisers in Cubs baseball were Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, Brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. Zenith and your local Zenith dealers. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. And by True Value. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value hardware stores. We've got what it takes.